This episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Zero Aeolus of Sargatanis, Halakren of Siren, and Cavo Fulmine of Lamia. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/limitbreakradio. And by Alamo City Comic Con, October 28th through the 30th at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in sunny San Antonio, Texas. Alamo City Comic Con celebrates the artists that entertain us through TV, movies, comics, gaming, and cosplay. For more information, including badge prices, celebrity guests, hotel accommodations, and more, visit alamocitycomiccon.com.
Live from Eorzea.
Limit Break with your hosts, Unmiro.
You don't want to go to war with me.
Juxtaposition.
You gotta calm down or I'm gonna have to frag you.
Ascalia.
We are dealing with someone here who has absolutely no life.
And Mika.
I am a gorgeous girl with big cans.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, episode number 78. Thanks for joining us here at LimitBreakRadio.com and at twitch.tv/LimitBreakRadio. If you're joining us live for the show, we want to thank you. If it's your first time, hit that follow button. Join us each and every single Sunday, starting at 1 p.m. here at twitch.tv/LimitBreakRadio. If you're listening on the podcast, set some time aside on a Sunday and join us once or twice. It's really fun. Trust me, you're going to have a great time getting to know the awesome people in our chat room.
And getting to troll them, too.
Yeah. You have a chance to call us or troll us. I mean, it's great.
You get to call Skrull a fucking idiot in real time.
That's right.
What's the better thing to do?
That's right.
It is better than just saying it to yourself every episode.
And
right.
it gets immortalized on screen in our chat room, in our YouTube videos for all to see for all of time. By the way, youtube.com/limitbreakradio if you want to see...
Until the internet fails.
That's true. Nice iCam shot right on the boobs. Dude, look at that. That's perfect.
Hey, look, it's a gorgeous girl with big cans.
Look at that.
I love boobs.
What more reason do you need to watch Limit Break Radio? I'm telling you. Thanks for joining us here today, live on Twitch. We got a lot to talk about for FF14. I'm super excited. Yeah, it's been a while since we've been in a position like this.
Juxtaposition?
No, not a juxtaposition. No, just in an area where we have new stuff to talk about, and we have an abundance of it. We've got
new stuff?
Yeah, well, we've got 3.38 to talk about, and a lot of the adjustments for the anima that came along with that. But we've also got some statements about the future of raiding that Yoshi-P has made, which
really?
that has caused a lot of discussion in the FF14 community. But there's also been that little thing, that 14-hour live stream that they did celebrating the 3-year anniversary of Final Fantasy XIV.
Was that the thing with Yoshi being super creepy in the background?
Just like...
What was that?
That looked like something out of The Grudge. It was so creepy. They're just like sitting there playing the game, and Yoshi's like pressing his face into like the bars. The bars that they had there.
There's so many memes on that now.
Oh my god, it was so creepy.
It is a little bit off-putting. And
Yoshi, why?
I don't know what. Yeah, why did that happen? I'm not entirely sure.
If you're Yoshi, I would do that if I was Yoshi. Because you're Yoshi. What can people say? Hey, don't do that. No, you're fucking Yoshi-P.
No, I mean I get it, but it's just I don't know. It was a weird thing to do for sure. Anyway, if you want to join us live here in the studio, you can of course do that on the Sargentana server. If you do decide to make a character on the Sargentana server and you want to join the #1 free company on Sargentanas, then send anyone in the LBR FC. We have the LBR tag next to our name. Send any of them a tell, and anyone can get you in. So it's a pretty open door policy here.
We even accept all applications. I accepted an application this morning.
There you go. So if that doesn't work, you can always apply, and we can accept you that way. But hang out live in the studio and wave at the camera, show off
your tits,
show off your boobs. There's a lot of fun things that you can do. By the way, if you want to subscribe to Limit Break Radio or the LBR Podcast Network, you can do that now on Google Play. And if you are subscribed on iTunes, you can leave reviews on iTunes. We ask that you do that because it helps other people find the show, and we would really appreciate spreading the word of Limit Break Radio.
86 miles per hour. Being the only FC left on Sargentanas makes us the #1 FC
That's
on Sargentanas.
right. Don't question the logic of it.
Doesn't matter how we got there.
That's right.
Get owned.
By the way, we are supported by Alamo City Comic-Con. That's October 28th through the 30th. It's coming up here, guys, at the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center in San Antonio, Texas. We're going to be out there. You can come meet us. Well, you can come meet me. But more importantly, you can meet some awesome celebrities, including David Tennant, Karen Gillan, Billy Piper, John Barrowman, all, of course, from Doctor Who. But recently announced Jason Mewes is also going to be out there, who is Jay from Jay and Silent Bob and all of the View Askewniverse movies. Brian O'Halloran, who played Dante from Clerks and a reporter in Dogma, as well as Jeremy London, who is TS on Mallrats, also in Party of Five and Seventh Heaven, is going to be out there as well.
I didn't realize he was in Dogma too.
Yeah, he was very briefly in Dogma, but he's one of those View Askew guys that's in sort of like he's got a bit part in everything.
All right, Dogma's one of my favorite movies. I can't believe I didn't know that.
Yeah. He's definitely. I think he's a reporter that gets killed, but I'm not 100% sure. But also announced this week, I cannot remember the name, her name off the top of my head, but the original Buffy from the Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie is going to be out there as well. So a lot of cool stuff. You can find more information about that at AlamoCityComicCon.com. Guys, it's been a busy week, and it's all kind of fallen in the last couple of days. Like, we've had a big flood of information in the last couple of days, of course, surrounding this 14-hour broadcast. A lot to go through here today. So
our strategy of waiting until Saturday to make the outlines has finally paid off.
You're not wrong, though, because it was getting to be like Friday about 7 o'clock, and we're just like, oh, yeah, we should probably start the... Oh, wait.
Well, we can't.
Yeah, what do we start
were
with?
kind of in a holding pattern waiting for this info, and it's a good thing that we did. We got some good info out of it. Got a pretty good look at what to expect for 3.4, and I mean... I'm even going to hold my own opinions about my own enthusiasm back, but I'm just taking the temperature of the community between, Reddit and the official forums and just overall sentiment. I don't know that this made quite the impact that Square Enix really wanted it to. There were a couple of announcements that did, including, by the way, the success of our hashtag Bring Susan.
You're welcome.
Yes, exactly. We're going to have Susan. We're going to have Susan Calloway performing for us out at FanFest,
sweet,
which is amazing, and we get to take credit for that. That was because of your hard work in the LB Army, tweeting the hashtag Bring Susan. It doesn't matter. Don't go to Twitter and look at the last time that it was tweeted. That doesn't matter. It was our hashtag. It was our suggestion, and the point is that finally Square Enix and Final Fantasy XIV listened to something that we have to say. So maybe not all hope is lost for this game just yet.
It's like you guys planted that seed.
They just need to keep listening to us, and then they'll have a winning game.
Exactly.
Here's the point.
Hashtag make Eorzea great again.
No one can prove that if we didn't have the hashtag Free Susan, that she wouldn't have come. No one can prove it.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You can't.
Are we the Donald Trump of the 14 community? Is that what you're implying?
No, I don't think we're saying that at all.
I don't think I said that at all.
Do we need to make the Guardians build us a wall?
It's gonna be a great wall,
and they're gonna pay for it.
They're gonna pay for it, and they're gonna be happy to do it.
We're gonna go to Alamigo and make them pay for it.
All those refugees coming across.
Oh,
Ulda will be happy.
Maybe this expansion will be a little bit more topical than we think. Who knows? There seems like some stuff that you can play around with there. By the way, okay, so I'm sure that some of you are hearing this noise that's occurring in the background now. So this weekend is the Gold Cup that they're hydroplane races. Basically, imagine F-Zero on water, and that's basically what these boats are. And it's going on right outside of the studio. So if you hear this noise, then an
elephant has just given birth in the studio,
or Nero just masturbated.
But if you hear a very loud bang and lots of screaming, then that means that something.
Ascalia masturbated.
It means that one of these boats traveling at 215 miles an hour has just broken apart, and debris has just been thrown into spectators and possibly my living room. So,
and that's when Papa masturbates.
Yeah, we'll turn on the cameras when that happens. So.
Oh, look, no vomit. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pleasant noise. We apologize. There's really nothing that we could do. We planned around it last year, and I think we actually didn't even have a show last year.
Yeah. We just did FEC.
Yeah, with the live letter and everything, it's pretty necessary that we're here today.
Well,
and
last year we weren't weekly, were we?
We were?
Yeah, we were weekly
at this point.
We went live weekly in June.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because it was right after I moved.
Oh.
Like the entire time we've been here, we've been weekly.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's been so long.
It was the old house. It was the old studio that
over there on that one place.
Yeah.
That got flooded. Remember when Leviathan came and just demolished everything except for Goku?
I do. Yeah. No, Goku survived. Fortunately. But yeah, no. And that's the best part is that, even living next to a river, you would think that flooding would be an issue, but not so much. That's fortunate. 4 stories up. So
if flooding becomes an issue for you, the city of Detroit's got some major problems.
Oh yeah, no, global warming has officially taken hold.
See an arc.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. I'm going to be trying to hail one of the hydroplane boats. Like, come pick me up. Anyway, guys, again, appreciate you being along here today. LimitBreakRadio.com, Facebook.com/LimitBreakRadio, Twitter.com/LimitBreakRadio. Make sure that you're following us on all of our social media pages. But also, I wanted to make mention of this right at the beginning of the show because I've been forgetting the last couple of weeks. A couple of fans have created the Limit Break Radio subreddit. So make sure that if you are a Redditor, which I know that there's probably not a ton of them that listen to the show anymore, but if you are a Redditor, that you go and subscribe to our Limit Break Radio. We're going to try to be a little bit more involved with what goes on over there, and I think we're also going to try to find like a plugin for our website that will simultaneously publish over there, so we're supporting it in some way. But anyway, we do want to thank our loyal fans who have started that subreddit for us, and it's a cool place. Like they've got some really interesting discussion going on about the discussion that goes on these very shows.
Discussion.
So, I know, right? I think if they had a big discussion about something that happened on the post show that talked about something that happened on the show, that would be the most meta thing ever, and that
we need to talk about that on the real show.
There we go.
Come full circle.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's check out what's going on in FF14 news.
This is a Limit Breaking News Update.
So, of course, we have the live letter, which we'll actually get to. That's going to be the majority of our discussion here today. But there have been a couple of other pieces of news, including announcing the winners of the gear design tank contest. Now, we had actually taken a look at a lot of these entries in a previous episode, and I'm going to go ahead and get these up on screen for everyone to check out, because I think they picked some pretty good winners here.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to go ahead and just say I was wrong. I thought they would go with the laziest ones.
Yeah,
no,
and
they definitely didn't.
They did not.
They actually went with ones that looked like they would be real tank gear.
I agree. Although
so cool.
I don't know, this top one is a little bit Full Metal Alchemisty for me, but
that's the winner one. That's gonna be in the game at some point.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's not bad. I wish it was.
I don't like the bucket.
I hope it's. You know what? Let me say. I hope it's dyeable.
Oh, that in black would be sweet.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
That's what I'm
right.
thinking.
I feel like it's just too similar to the Ironworks stuff.
What?
Ironworks stuff glows with blue lights and stuff.
I don't know. I just get a big Ironworks.
Oh, this is the thing with the shield on it. Although
that's just protect.
Is
the
it?
buff.
Is okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Never mind. I hate it now.
Get Shrek.
I definitely do like the. I like the design. I kind of wonder if they're going to go with the short coat or the long coat design here, because do you see that long coat kind of gets cut off here in the second version? But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that in the game. Some of the runners up here were pretty cool. I don't know that this one. I mean,
I
it
like
doesn't
it except
totally
for the
do
checkerboard.
it. Yeah, the checkerboard does not really do it for me.
I like it just because it looks different from everything else.
They really went out of their way to draw the package in the butt, did they not? I mean.
They're trying to show what the pants look like.
Oh, I get it.
Because you can't see it from the
No, it's not a sexual thing at all.
Get that bulge on.
Yeah, there is a bulge there. I see.
Where's the boobs?
I see the outline.
Hashtag where's the boobs?
There's a penis.
It's good to know he lilts to the left.
How can you actually tell that?
Okay, anyway.
Scully has practice.
Do you not have eyes? I mean, seriously. All right, we've got... here's another one of the runners-up. Pretty cool. I'm glad that this was not our winner.
Yeah.
I mean...
That looks like World of Warcraft.
I like it, though.
It's too... Like, I don't know. It looks like...
Looks like the Samurai AF.
It looks like the mega-evolved version of Guyver. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so silly and over the top.
That is like that's Gundam Eorzea right there.
Yeah. Some of these other ones are pretty good. This one I wasn't a huge fan of. The more like tribal looking thing.
It's the Alola paladin.
Very Waka-like.
Oh my
Just
god!
stop.
It does look like Waka. You're right.
It does.
No, every time I see it, I think of Waka.
Monster Hunter.
I did kind of like this long cape.
The red coat.
Yeah, it was all right. I kind of dig that. Wasn't bad. And then
I like the turtle.
The Quadav.
I'm very glad that did not.
It's the
Adamantoid.
Oh,
You're all wrong.
Yeah. Anyway, you can take a look at all of these over at the Lodestone if you want to. Congratulations to the winner. I actually didn't. What was their name?
Squiggle, Moonrood, Squiggle. Congratulations, Mr. Squiggle.
There you go.
It's Aoin. For those of you who can't read hiragana.
Most of us.
Aoin.
I'm sorry, Nika. We're Americans. We don't speak not American.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, okay.
America.
Anyway, so
speaking of building a wall,
congratulations to that. There's a FF14 Maid Butler promotion for the Australia region.
I feel so bad for Europe at this point.
Was it for the maid outfits that they had that insane promo event?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing. So, but this is Australia's, and Australia's is so much similar to ours, where it's like here on this Australian site, buy something that's $30, get a code.
Yeah. So
Yay.
if you live in,
it's all anime, so I'm sorry.
And Europe is still like, I have to buy 5 magazines and take a selfie.
If you live in Australia and you want more details on that, you can check that out over at the Lodestone. The Rising event has begun. Has anyone done the Rising event yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's cute, but nowhere near as cool as last year's.
Real
super huge, big, ultra, mega letdown.
It's not okay. It's
what's
cute
the hook? What's the sell me on doing it?
that you get an equestrian roll and 2 minions.
Oh.
Oh, so nothing I give even a half a shit
But
about.
like the orchestrion rolls are worth collecting. You're gonna pass up on this and be able to never get it again.
It's a play about the
It's a cute little play using minions and your character about the calamity, and there's some cute little options you can pick that will have some like funny.
Stop it with the minion shit.
Was this the event last year where we talked to Yoshi in game?
Yeah.
Was that?
Like,
Okay. Oh, this is way less cool.
Wandering minstrel like he normally does, but you don't actually get to go like last year how it teased a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, comparative to last year, I think that this is pretty.
It's on par with the rest of Heaven's Word.
Damn, Pop's getting a good one off.
Scully asked what song it was. It's the actual like Heaven's Word song from the trailer where it starts out with like that voice, that opera voice.
Damn it, I want that.
You get the orchestrion roll too from like the first leg of it, which is literally like teleport to all three cities.
Hang on, which song is that again, Jux? I think that you were.
It was an actual clip he just played.
Yeah, what can you?
Now, can you beatbox it?
That's not a beatbox song.
Apparently, it is.
This is not Overwatch. You stop it. You cut it out. All right. So if you want to participate in the Rising event, it's from August 27th to September 12th. And as Nika had mentioned, you receive a Heaven's Word Orchestrion roll, Kryle minion, and Y'shtola minion. So, and there is a new meteor firework.
Sweet.
It's cool. It's a meteor that comes down from the sky and it lands on the ground, and like the meteor symbols on the ground, and you can stand in it.
You know what firework I miss? I miss the Gobby Santa Claus from 11. Did they ever bring that over to 14?
What?
Remember the one? There was a firework you found
to
that had like the little Gobby Santa Claus and like doing like the sleigh.
Oh my God!
The Gobby Santa firework.
Yeah, now I kind of do.
I miss that.
Yeah, and it comes down from the sky, right?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember that. No, I don't think that was ever a thing here.
Dang it! I want that.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, I'll keep asking for it. We're gonna get it.
So
I want it for Christmas this year.
Hashtag bring
Gobby
Santa.
Yeah. Hashtag bring Gobby Santa.
If you start the hashtag, it'll pay off in like 2.5 years.
All right, man. We're on 6.0. I'm gonna be real happy.
I know, right?
Seed.
So that's it in terms of news for FF14. Outside of Live Letter 31, of course, that was going down over this past weekend.
What was their shtick on the 14-hour stream? What were they streaming this time?
Yeah, what were they?
Yeah,
Yokai Watch Face.
Was it
really?
Was it?
What's that? I heard two things were going on. I heard that, and they also were going like on an orchestrion roll, like grind. They're trying to get all of them as many as they could. Yeah, it was. I didn't watch it. I didn't care. I watched the live letter.
Yeah, the live letter was. I mean, that is look, I can understand why most of a North American audience wouldn't watch the 14-hour broadcast because it's like
you can't understand a word of it.
You really can't. Yeah,
and it's just boring stuff.
And a lot of times it's just frustrating. And I mean, no one's going to be translating for that long. I mean, I know that there are people who do translate the live letters, which is a great service. I think that's that's an awesome service that people provide for the FF14 community. Those live streams or the Reddit compilations afterwards, because they're about 6 hours quicker than the official Square Enix postings that'll go up either on the official forums or on the Twitter page. So that, by the way, I just wanted to kind of shine a little spotlight on that and say, I'm very appreciative of the people who take the time to actually translate this stuff.
Right.
So let's take a look at some of the patch 3.4 notes, talking a lot about what we can expect this coming September 27th. We got a date for patch 3.4.
A little earlier than we were expecting, but pretty close.
Actually,
we were saying end of September, beginning of October.
Yeah, that's pretty much on schedule for what we were thinking. And then I would imagine that 3.45 would probably be right around FanFest. So we'll probably be getting either a preview of the Deep Dungeon, the next injection of Deep Dungeon content, or we will have just gotten it going into FanFest. So,
and what an injection it's going to be.
Well, I honestly think that that's going to be one of the challenges out at this year's FanFest.
The Deep Dungeon. Solo or group?
Group.
Oh, definitely group.
I think it's gonna. I think that's gonna take the speed running dungeon challenge.
Maybe.
I think it is.
I think it'd be really cool
If
to
I-
have a solo.
I don't
see how
think-
far you
just-
and how long you can go.
Just thinking of how the FanFest stuff was set up last year, though, and how long we were waiting in lines,
gotta-
I
yeah, you
can't,
gotta
I
get
can't
people
see
in
them
and
doing
out
a
of that.
solo event at all.
Yeah, they got to get people in and out of that as quickly as possible. So, by the way, the patch is called Soul Surrender, which is...
It's kind of cool, actually.
I don't know. I mean, like, this, it feels kind of out of place with a lot of the other
names. This one sounded
I
very
like it.
different.
I'm excited.
I think it should sound very different since this, like, the last patch was kind of supposed to end that arc, right?
Yeah, I guess you're right. And we also...
What was the last patch called?
There's that cricket drop.
Revenge of the Horde.
Revenge of the Horde.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Anyway, but the art for Soul Surrender features very prominently, of course, the Warriors of Darkness.
You can tell it's the Warriors of Darkness because they look mad.
Yeah, they look angry.
And they're black.
What?
Wait,
Whoa.
what? That got way racist. What happened there?
value all cultures equally highly.
Don't hide behind your drops.
Live up to that one.
I'm back in black.
Just own it.
It's really the worst drop ever.
But yeah, the Warriors of Darkness featured very prominently in this artwork, which makes me think that they're going to be the next focus of the main storyline quest. So.
I hope they're not, because that would be hilarious.
Right.
They just come back in at the very end.
Well, it'll be
brood on a cliff.
I mean,
silently walk away.
It's really all we've
brood
gotten to
some
see of
more.
them so far. I mean, they haven't really done a whole lot except solo Ravana, and that was it. I mean, what else have they done? They've just kind of looked ominous from the cliff. So
I mean,
they
they're
were on the-
watching us, waiting for the right moment to strike.
They were on the Garlean space station.
By the way, they did mention that along with focusing on the Warriors of Darkness, that, and this is kind of cool, that finishing the coils will change the dialogue.
Wait, finishing Coil or finishing Alexander?
No, finishing coils. Will change the dialogue.
I love it when
Wait,
they do
hold on.
this, so.
For MSQ.
Finishing Coils or finishing Crystal Tower?
Oh, for God's sake.
No, but like,
Are you
it's just
deaf?
weird that something from that long ago would affect the current story. That's why.
Well, no,
We'll
it
find
makes
out about
that
that,
makes total sense because they've given all of the bads long enough to get carried through it now too. So you can do it. Coil is pretty dick rolly at this point. So that's been given everyone a pretty ubiquitous chance to be able to get through that content. And if you haven't yet, you've got plenty of warning before this drops, and you do end up chugging through the MSQ. But I mean, it's probably going to be like 1 or 2 lines of dialogue.
Yeah,
not
don't think
all
anything too big.
Yeah, exactly. They're
I'm
going
expecting like
to
a big
congratulate you on finishing, defeating the Bahamut threat. That's it. It's just a thank you, and then they move on.
Maybe more than that. Like, if you are a legacy member in the 2.0, they actually quite a bit of dialogue thrown in throughout the entire thing. So you never know.
I'm expecting big cutscene changes, like diverging path where you can choose one option, choose a different option.
Just don't get your hopes up.
No, I wouldn't get your hopes up that
No.
much. But I bet,
That's my
I bet that there will be references to the fact that we have defeated Bahamut. So maybe if you haven't defeated Bahamut, the Warriors of Darkness will go defeat it for you and be like, we're that badass guys. Just
Idiot.
If you haven't completed Coil, Orshafant comes back to life. If you have,
But
he
only-
stays dead.
get out of here.
So we've also got this screenshot that looks almost, it looks like we're going to be facing off against the Warriors of Darkness, because that does look like a burning circle ring
Divine Might 2, finally.
around the arena. So
Okay, well, this isn't fair at all. Why do they get 5 people and we only get 4?
Maybe we get 8.
Or possibly 8.
Yeah, we probably will have 8.
Well, that's still not fair.
It's not fair to them.
Why do they only get 5? They need more people.
I think they actually have more people, because even on the what is it, the artwork, there seemed like there was one that was pictured in that's not pictured here. I thought there was a Dragoon on that. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, because there's one of each race.
Oh, okay.
And wasn't
You're right. You're right.
parties back in 1.05?
I don't think so.
No?
That's a thing I'm going to assume happened.
What?
So we confirm
What are you
that?
talking about?
And so confirmation from Manero, 1.0 parties were 5 people large.
You're an idiot.
Glad we got that.
Stupid. So there's going to be new side quests added, new Scholasticate quests. Finally, that's the first injection of Scholasticate content since 3.0. Yeah.
Yeah.
New Hildebrand adventures, of course. That's going to be like 2 stories.
No, don't flash back!
And then,
God, please.
Stop. Just let him die. I don't want Hildebrand anymore.
You're the one who wanted Hildebrand.
I don't anymore. They ruined
I
him.
still like the Hildebrand quests.
No.
You know what? I like
They
it,
just
but
need to
I'm
bring
kind of
Greg back.
mad at... I've gotten to the point too where it's just like, can we just like skip him for 2 patches so that when we do get him, there's more of it?
like,
That's why I haven't
I
started
can't
it.
stand having like an hour's worth of Hildebrand and then being done till next patch.
like, why is it, dude? Seriously, why is it that I'm actually kind of looking a little bit more forward to the new Scholasticate shit than the Hildebrand?
Oh, you're gonna be real mad
we
when there's only
haven't
2
had it in so long.
Scholasticate quests.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You know why? Because back when we had Hildebrand in 2.0, we actually had trials and fights to go along with
Yeah.
Came
Hildebrand.
out of
You
it.
need to bring Greg back.
No, I don't think they need to go back to that. I mean, you could.
You need to bring Greg as like a normal person.
I thought Hildebrand was great because it was a great vehicle for all of that throwback shit
Yes.
that now has worked its way into the rest of the overworld.
Okay, now hold on. You can't
This
say
is back
now.
to FF9, so let's bring something. Maybe he'll bring in Tetramaster.
Well, I think it's. God, stop it.
We can only hope not.
No, but I mean, it's not necessarily now, but I mean, like, I think that by taking it out of Hildebrand, that they're putting it, they're putting the FF6 references into the Hullbreaker Hard, or stuff like that.
Blame Hildebrand.
Yeah, like it's not necessary at all to put that stuff in the overworld and then feel like Hildebrand is lacking. What are you looking around for?
I'm trying to think of what the reference.
The first boss from FF6, the snail
the
boss.
whelk,
God, you're
right.
fucking retarded.
I've only-
You're like looking around,
I'm
and
trying to
everyone's
think.
sitting here. Everyone is sitting here staring at you like shit. Like
Is there a fly or what?
What the fuck is happening?
I've only done that dungeon once.
We had this whole conversation about how it didn't even have the same mechanics from 6, and we were disappointed. Like, this was a thing that happened.
Didn't even have the same music. It could have at least had the
Yeah.
same fucking music.
But how much fun was like Battle on the Big Bridge? Like that was
Yes.
a great addition to the
Exactly.
game, and Hildebrand was a great vehicle for it.
Well, and I mean,
That Charleston Typhon fight was really cool.
that too, and again, the perfect vehicle for that. And I think that was the place to have all of those nice kitschy references,
Right.
because it was like compartmentalized away from the rest of the world.
You didn't mind suspending your disbelief for that. Yeah.
Yes, that's a great point, Ascalia. Great point.
What do you? Hildebrand's very 100% like authentic. I mean, I don't know about you, but I can like fly to the moon and then fall back down to the earth and not die. Have you not done that before? In RL?
We just mute him for the
Where's
rest
the
of the
fight
show.
with Godbert? That's what I want.
Yeah.
The fight with God.
Well, yeah, we got to throw it out with
Actually, I
Godbert.
feel like he should be like an ultimate, like, really silly primal that it takes 8 of us to fight him. I think it would be hilarious.
He'll suplex Doom Train.
You have to fight him as a goldsmith, though.
No.
And he just beats you with his hammer.
Yes.
And you just, like, slam into the ground like Hildebrand does.
Do we even really need Doom Train anymore? I mean, like, honestly.
Everything.
I'm
See, this
so
is another
tired
thing
of that
made me,
reference.
like, when I was thinking about after doing the Rising event, after just thinking about all the things that they teased in last year's Rising event, and how none of them except the Twintani amount have come to pass.
Well, it's not like they would have told us about new jobs or anything. I mean, that was a big part of the tease. And so I think it's going to be interesting to watch the FanFest announcements to see, what are the jobs that they confirm, and were they actually teasing those in the previous year's Rising.
Yeah, all that stuff is going to be like 4.0 stuff.
Oh, of course.
I'm sure, but still, it's kind of like, why wouldn't they wait until this year's Rising to tease all that? It feels like, I don't know. They did it last year, and we've just been sitting on that information for a year.
So,
and
I don't really know. So it's not obvious. I don't know.
It's so you have something to talk about and speculate for a whole year on. And then if they did it right now, it's like a month and a half before FanFest. That's not time for speculation.
So we're looking also at some quality of life adjustments. The cooldown timers will now reset when restarting battles.
God,
I hate this. They need to revert
that
this.
should have been in from day one.
It really
Catering to casuals.
It really should have.
No.
If you
That
don't
is
have
the most infuriating thing when you're like raiding for a certain amount of time and you have to wait for 5 minutes if you wipe due to a mistake because your cooldowns are down.
You know what?
Stupidest thing ever.
You know what, Nika? Just don't make mistakes. How about that?
Okay, we'll just never wipe ever again.
There you go. Problem solved. You don't need
One
this.
shot everything. Got it.
So there are also some incoming changes to auto attack. You're no longer going to be affected by whether or not you're facing the enemy as long as you're in range.
Come on.
This seems like a very strange.
No, they're taking our advice. They're finally borrowing something from 11.
Saying that actually helps controller users.
When you're running away, like you can always like manipulate the distances to attack. It's
Because
weird.
on controller, you can't really strafe while facing the boss. So if you have to like dodge a mechanic, you often lose auto attacks, which is a big reason why people are like, controller sucks.
Why don't you just lock on?
But now, if you're within range, I mean, you can lock on, but depending on the mechanic, like if you have to jump outside of like a Titan's plume or something, you'll lose some auto attack. But now you'll still get it.
Just use your big backflip move. Only we have that.
Is there a mechanic? Because there's just not one that's coming to mind where if you do an action or you do even
Blighted
an auto
bouquet?
attack, blighted. Oh, yeah, there you go, blighted bouquet.
You have to deselect your target.
Wow.
You can just like Matt, you don't have to actually put your weapon away as some people do, but if you hit escape a few times, then it'll like stop you from attacking.
Gotcha. That's going to actually change.
You could just turn around.
I mean,
that's risky.
Well, they said. I mean, even turning around, that's not going to be able to.
No,
you're
it
going to
won't
have to go after. You're going to have to go out of range.
No, you just have to hit attack escape a couple times, so that little icon above the head that says that you're auto attacking just goes away.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely going to change the rhythm of the way some people play. So,
catering to casuals, catering to controllers. What next?
No, that'll help me so much in raiding. I feel like as I'm dodging and pulling the boss around, I actually lose so much.
I feel like 99% of people will not even experience this change.
It's mostly the controller people.
Yeah.
Actually, you'd be surprised. Like I watched
too while moving the bosses around.
I watched Kahlo play ninja, and he just like walks like at a 90-degree angle away from the boss. Now he'll not be as bad.
He doesn't play with controller, does he?
No, but he plays with a keyboard. But he faces away from the boss for like seconds at a time.
Why?
To move.
Terrible.
When he actually does dodge stuff.
On the rare occasion.
What a terabad. And also won't be able to face target when you move. So, certain EX primal battles will be added to Raid Finder. Knights of the Round is an example. And it's good that I think that's good that they're finding more utilization for the Raid Finder. I'm kind of curious what the data on the number of people using that system is.
I was going to ask, did Raid Finder come out?
Yes.
Yes, but the only things in it are Savage, Midas, and
so no one's using it, is what you're saying.
Yeah, the only reason, the thing is that you have to queue up through the Raid Finder even if you have a full party. So technically, everyone raiding is using it. However, if you have somebody missing, you just queue up randomly to grab a person.
Have you ever used it, Nika?
We've only used it to fill in like one random melee on A5 once.
Okay.
How'd that go?
It went well, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we won.
Fair enough.
I'm going to have a lot of fun with this next update.
Countdowns will now be in an interface feature?
Yeah, so now like how people would say pulling boss in 5, 4.
Yeah.
Now it's a giant number in your middle of your screen.
Oh my god.
Like that's for the interface. Oh, I see.
I don't know if it's the most
30 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the most necessary thing in the world, but it's cool.
It's necessary.
I'm definitely never partying with Juxta ever again.
We're gonna pull in 30 seconds, guys. Please make sure your buffs are up for Ozma.
Gonna be buffing in 5,
27, 26.
Stop.
25.
Stop.
26.
Stop.
30.
All right. Get it. All
We're
right.
all getting a taste of what it will be like to party with Juxta.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I love how something actually useful comes out. The first thing he thinks about is how he control everybody.
Have you just met Juxta?
Is this the first time that you've ever met him? All right. Let's talk about the next tier of rating. This seems like an appropriate place to put this. Of course, Yoshi-P confirmed that the next leg of Alexander will be coming out, called Alex the Creator.
My immersion is ruined. It's not the Creatas.
Midas Creator?
Yeah.
Creatas. That's what it's called for me.
It is a little bit.
Well, they had the father, the son. Is that go to Savage?
Is this the Holy Ghost?
So we actually got to see some screenshots of some of the battle arenas here, and this is pretty cool. I mean, again, it's a big arena, but I sort of feel like this is a repeat of Ozma right here. This is Ozma. This is the same arena as Ozma. It's a big circle.
But I don't know. I feel like if we actually get to go up and down between like that ledge on the top and the platform on the bottom, and it's just 8 people, I think it could be really cool.
Maybe
it'll be like Arcane.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, if you could fight on the platform on the bottom, maybe, because it does look like one of those elevator things that what's her face uses in the cutscenes. That's
part of the mechanics somehow.
Yeah, it could be.
Wow. Okay, so before we were tired of circle arenas, so now they're giving us circle arena and donut arenas all the time. Come on, Square Enix.
Now you're getting 2 circle arenas.
There you go.
Where's my triangle arena?
So we've also got, this was another one of the screenshots that was shown off.
He looks so badass.
Connection with the creator. Do we recognize this from anyone? What is this?
It's Ultima Faust.
They stole it from Dark Souls.
It is pretty bad. I like the it's got like the Fausty
weapon. Really cartoony.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we looking at the top of its head, or?
I'm looking at it as those 2 circles in the middle are its eyes, and like those like straight up and down yellow lines are like its mouth area.
Maybe.
And it looks like that way. It looks like a big helmet, but it looks kind of cartoony to me.
He's huge.
He is massive.
He is huge.
Yeah.
He is the ultimate Faust. You will get Fausted many times.
He might be a Faust
in the butthole.
And a lot of steam going on in the environment here.
We heard you like steampunk, bro.
Well, I mean, that's pretty standard for Alexander.
So we also had some statements by Yoshi-P regarding the difficulty of the current raids and what the raids moving forward are gonna end up looking like in terms of difficulty. And they said that they're gonna be like they thought that Midas was too hard and that they would be adjusting the difficulty to be easier moving forward.
Did you see when this first got like mentioned?
Yes.
This happened like 2 hours after we went off the air last week.
Yes.
That was on purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like they are waiting until we go off the air to make announcements like that.
Yeah.
Shameful.
Like, well, maybe they won't talk about 7 days later. I don't understand why
they thought Midas was hard. Is it just based on the fact that not that many have cleared Midas 8? Because that could be an incentive issue, not a difficulty issue.
Not only an incentive issue, but an overall game sentiment issue. I think that there's some very real sentiment issues around people logging in and the motivation for people to continue raiding and continue to be plugged into this game. I mean, even among raiders, when you only feel like that's the only thing that you're doing in an MMO, I don't think that that's really the emotion that you want to elicit, especially among your most dedicated player base. And so I mean, I think objectively we have to say that the raiding scene has fallen off. Even with the good things that they did with Midas, it never really recovered from the hit that it took with Gordius.
Maybe, but what's wrong with having a difficulty level that only a small percentage of the community completes? Like, doesn't WoW have like 7 difficulties for every single raid they release? Like, what's wrong with having that extreme difficulty that 2% of the community completes? That at least will eventually create some gear lust down the road.
Well, I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with what I'm saying is I think that the data that Square Enix is looking at is skewed. I think that if you look at the comparative data, the comparative number of clears that Alex Savage has gotten Gordius to Midas, it's probably gone down. I think
Midas was perfect. Gordius had a little bit of flaws in its design, I think, that was frustrating, but Midas, I think everyone said was pretty well received.
Have you beat Midas?
Well, the sentiment...
I mean, we're getting close to beating 7.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that Square Enix is listening to community sentiment on this one. I think that they're looking at data. I think that they're looking at numbers, and the numbers that they're looking at might be objectively kind of skewed to say that, people are either... or to make it look like people are either struggling on it more than they are or are less motivated to complete it than they are. And, I think that you've got 2 factors in play. I think... you saw the raid scene take a huge hit with the release of Gordius, and that Midas was an attempt to recover from that, and it only did so much. But there was also the biggest hit that the raiding scene took was when Story Mode came out. When Story Mode came out, that took a huge chunk of people out of even considering rating for their to feel complete in the game. And when you remove, I mean, we've been saying this all the way going back to, when they had nerfed Steps of Faith, when they were talking about doing story modes, that, this is the ultimate effect that this is going to have. It's going to
we knew that, though, and I think... I don't know how they would think that releasing a story mode wouldn't do that. I mean, there were so many people during Coil that said they wanted to do the raids and see the story, but they didn't want to actually have the challenge. That's what story mode's for. So, I mean, you have to... Obviously, that the actual rating's going to go down.
But again, if you compare the numbers, not the percentage of, when you do percentage comparisons, you're looking at the relative amount of people that are logging in and the relative amount of people that are completing. But if you look at the objective number of, completion, it's going to go down every single time. And I think that Square Enix is compensating for that data and probably not in the way that they should. I think that it's a bad idea to make the last leg easier. It does in a lot of ways end up mirroring Binding Coil, where the strongest difficulty was in the middle section of tiers. And but the problem is that you don't have the same level of motivation where someone feels like they're missing out on narrative if they're not doing this part of the game. And I think that's pretty huge. And if sentiment is anything to gauge, if just looking at the way that the community has reacted, the number of people logging in, the number of people actively playing, I think that's a pretty damning indictment. I don't think that they need to adjust the difficulty. I think that they need to go back and reevaluate what the motivation that they're providing their players is.
I agree.
This is terrifying. This has put Aniro and Nika on the same page about rating. Juxta, we should get out of here. This won't end well.
Penis.
Thanks.
Thank you for that.
Thanks.
Didn't they do that with the EX relic stuff too?
Penis?
I mean, yeah. No, Garuda was somewhat. It was, but then you had Titan was
crazy,
extremely hard, and then Frit was kind of just another
victory lap.
Right.
Victory lap.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that they did. I mean, again, I don't know that any of that is purposeful, though. It seems I don't know. Some of it seems accidental or. At least random, not intentional.
If they do this third time, it might be a pattern.
Maybe. I think that's a disappointing pattern to put your community through, though. I think that feels disappointing in terms of, accolades. Nika, would you agree? Like, if final leg of Alexander ends up being easier,
I'm going to be very sad. I mean, I'm a little sad that I probably won't clear A8 before this drops, probably. But even within itself, though, I can tell you that, like, the amount of time it took us to get through A6 and the amount of time it's taking us to progress through A7, A6 is way harder. A7's really not that hard in comparison. So I feel like, I don't think they do it on purpose. I think they're just not thinking.
Well, I don't even know if it's not.
Thanks for that donation, Dirty Randy. We appreciate it, by the way.
It probably is hard to gauge exactly how your community will react to every fight. So that's why within a specific leg, I can see maybe the middle fight ends up being one of the harder ones, and when they weren't intending that. But it's really a bummer that you would think the final leg of Alexander is going to be the easiest of the three.
Right,
that seems weird.
I can see if he was saying it going into Heaven's Word, he wanted to change it up, but why change it now?
Well,
the last leg of Alex.
And when they had made this they had made a similar declaration going into Midas that, look, we had made some missteps with Gordius. The DPS check was too high. We're not going to be relying on super strict DPS checks to be able to win for Midas. and they were right to make the, like, even we said at the time when they were saying that, like, that's probably appropriate. They were saying that Midas might feel a little bit easier in comparison to Gordius, but this is why, and we were like, oh, that's fair, is appropriate. But I don't think that is the same reaction that's happening here with Gordius or Midas to the last
creator.
one. Yeah, the creator.
The sentiment of the community has not felt at all during Midas what it felt like during Gordius. People during Gordius, even I talked to Kyle or Nika, and I feel like you guys felt like you were just mashing your face against a wall for nothing, and it was lame.
In Gordius, we were more like mashing our face against the server ping, and that was what was frustrating.
Right. This time, people are just like, yeah, it's hard, but I'm working on it.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like a problem to me.
Yeah, I don't think that of the people who are rating that there are people that there is as much sentiment about Midas in the vein of like, oh, this is awful, I hate these fights are just broken. That was you heard a lot of that in the Gordius days, but I don't think you've heard much of that from Midas. But I mean,
there's also less people doing it, so
that's true. Yeah, and I think that again, if that's the data that Square Enix is using to justify this decision, I think that that's a bad metric to use.
Well, definitely. We talk about the incentivization of it all the time, and it's just like, if the only thing that I'm getting out of doing the Savage mode is the gear necessary to do the next level of Savage mode, that I don't care.
Right?
Who cares? What does it matter?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. So let's actually read the actual statement from Yoshi-P. Of course, this is coming from Nova Crystallis. Kooky is providing the link in the chat room. Thank you, Kooky. Doing very great work for us as
You're doing
producer.
Altana's work.
And yeah, is that the right guy?
That's the guy I care about.
The 12's work.
There you go.
Who cares about them? Heretic.
But anyway, thank you.
Juxta's work.
Thank you, Kooky. By the way, if you do want to call the show, we do allow you. Shut up, Juxta. We allow you.
Sorry, the Juxtas.
We allow you to call the show. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. If there's anything that you want to sound off on for the live letter, we will be happy to take your calls. But a lot of times when people call in, they make very long points and want to have a big discussion. We're going to try to keep your phone calls very short because we got a lot to go through here today.
Yeah.
So if you do get the chance to call in, make sure that you get to your point
super
right away. So here's the actual quote from Yoshi-P. Quote, "The player feedback that we received with the Binding Coil of Bahamut series was that they wanted more of a challenge. They wanted more difficult content," Yoshida explained. So with this feedback with Alexander, we implemented 2 versions of the same content, normal mode and savage mode. With savage mode, we made it really brutal, really difficult, so many gimmicks and mechanics. However, we heard feedback from players that now savage mode of Alexander is too difficult. For the next one, we're trying to make it easier because what we want to do is bring more people in to challenge this raid content. Is that what people are saying? Is that actually what the community?
That's what people were saying in Gordius. I haven't heard anyone saying that in Midas.
I had that exactly. I had heard that a lot about Gordius, but not about Midas. And it just seems like, I mean, is he fudging the facts to be able to justify it so that people feel like they can challenge it easier? I don't understand what the logic here is.
Yeah, and you would ask, maybe the JP player base is saying that, but the JP player base doesn't have much trouble clearing it, to my understanding.
I'm pretty sure they clear it better than we do.
Yeah, so Well, I don't think they're the ones saying that.
Continuing, Yoshida added that it wasn't just difficulty feedback fans communicated, but the narrative design as well. Quote, "The other feedback was about storyline that Alexander content lacked in some of the excitement."
That's legit.
Yeah, in some of the excitement that we got during the Coil series.
Well, yeah, Dodoy.
In order to bring more excitement, we wanted to have this special kind of feature for the final boss in the final installment of Alexander. Because Alexander is a monster monster who manipulates time, there will be some gimmicks, effects, and battle situations where you can see those kinds of elements. That's something we'd like you to look forward to. However, the development team is currently working really hard on tweaking and balancing all of the content. Again, I think that the statements on story design, that's totally fair. That is completely the feedback that I think the community has communicated. But I don't know where they're pulling that quote-unquote, we hear feedback from players that now Savage Mode of Alexander is too difficult. Where are you getting that from?
I mean, I feel like they're just looking at numbers and being like, oh, well, crap, there's like 5 groups on each server that have actually...
That's what I'm saying. Yes,
Right.
they're looking at the objective clear rate numbers instead of measuring the sentiment on their forums. And and again, it's a bad metric to go by because you really do want to measure sentiment. Midas was good. I mean, again, I don't speak from experience because I've left rating long ago. But just through the changes between Gordius and Midas for story mode, the changes were phenomenal. The fights were a whole lot more engaging and a whole lot more fun.
But then again, I feel like a lot of it is more fun because it was kind of silly, whereas Coil was fun and serious, so I'm not sure exactly where they're aiming to go with this, but
I don't either, and I don't know. I don't know where they were going with Alexander overall. It seems like they're saying like, look, feedback has made us kind of reevaluate what we're doing with Alexander. So what was the original plan? I mean, it's just this seems like very slapdash game design. And I mean, it's disappointing.
Wasn't the original intention of story mode Alexander to be somewhere within the range of Coil with Echo?
Yes.
And
it was never that.
Does it ever feel like that?
No. It was never that. It was never at that
Coil
difficulty.
with Echo was still difficult to an extent.
Yeah.
The story mode Alex was not that.
No, I agree.
Basically going through a 4-man dungeon.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
That's
an 8-man dungeon.
Well,
Well, let's be honest.
Right.
Honestly, I think A7 normal is harder for a pug group than A7 Savage is for a static. I think A7 normal had a decent amount of difficulty, but other than that, I think they were kind of nothing.
It's definitely the only one we wiped on, so I believe that maybe.
All right, let's go to our phone lines. We've got Doris, let's see, what is
Javanian.
Javanovan.
Ivan.
Javanovan. There's an extra V in there, I'm telling you.
Ivan.
Okay, all right. Doris of Tonberry, thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. How's it going?
How's it going?
Good.
Pronounce your last name.
Yeah, how do you pronounce it?
Jive Ivan.
Jive Ivan. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
That makes sense.
All right. Doris, what do you want to talk about today?
Just want to talk about the rating.
All right.
They should bloody gate the story mode behind the fight.
Which the Savage fights?
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, that was one of the ideas that we had when we were going between Gordius and Midas, and one of the questions that we had was, to be able to do the next leg of story mode, should they have some kind of requirement to get at least so far in
can't do Midas
Savage fights.
or can't do Midas normal till you clear Gordius Savage. Can't do Creator normal till you clear Midas.
I mean, and that is providing a real incentive, and it's making people work for their rewards. But I feel like this community has been so spoiled that would just get open hostility.
Well, I don't even know if it's just because the community is spoiled. That system it feels a little janky to me.
Disjointed. Excuse me.
But see, to me, that makes it feel
does a
like,
little
I don't
bit.
know, you actually have to clear and kill Alexander to move on to the next leg. I don't know.
There's no way that they could do it now, but I think if they had done it in the, Gordius to Midas transition, that it probably, some of the community would have been pissed, but not like they would be if you did it now.
But that still just feels really awkward. I think if you're going to do that, just only have the Savage mode. I don't think it's that different.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I think we'd all be fine with, too, but...
Yeah. Doris, are you a raider? Are you active in the raiding community?
No, I did Coil, but I didn't bother with Alex.
No.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Because the lack of incentive. Because once I get the gear out of Alex, it's just going to get replaced in 3 to 6 months.
Yeah.
But Coil was the same way. So what kept you raiding in Coil that kept you away from
the story?
The
story.
Yeah. Yep.
There you go, Doris. That's exactly what we've been saying is the problem. And I think that it was very similar to me. I was very much driven by story completion, and it's interesting. Nika, we had been talking last week that you unlike me have felt very rewarded by the gear and the drops that you're getting out of participation in Savage now. And I had said, even back when I was doing raiding, when I was actively raiding Coil, that the rewards really didn't even feel like rewards. And I'm going to go back and double down on that statement because as I go back and I think about it, I passed on a lot of rewards that I could have gotten or could have used because I just sort of felt like, it's not that big of a deal. Like I would pass to other members who would want stuff, like would want tank pieces. I know that I passed at least on 2 pieces to Scry. So, and we did not see that many tank pieces out of the time that we had spent in Binding Coil. So even the rewards, I don't know that I would have done that in FF11. I would have been very competitive. I was very competitive for the drops that I was going after in FF11.
Yeah, but that's because 11's drops had like a 2% drop rate, and you didn't even know if you were going to claim them.
Well, but I think that's also something that's kind of benefited that system. You kind of just made my point for me.
Even in Dynamics, the shit like never dropped. So that's why it made it. I don't know.
Exactly.
You weren't sure if you're going to be able to claim that boss in Salvage now if you're going to get that drop. So
about anything in the open world.
So
obviously,
I've never felt motivated by the actual rewards that come out of any of the systems in this game, and that's really disappointing because everything just feels like a predetermined tome grind that I just get these many tomes and then I'm done, and that's it. There's not much more for me there, and even when I was getting raid gear, didn't even really feel like enough of an incentive to keep me there. But I do want to agree with Doris on this, that the story did. Thank you, Doris. We really appreciate the call. If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. So I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people that want to talk about raiding, and of course we can go back to that. But let's move on and talk about the new trial that we'll be getting with 3.4, of course, Containment Bay P1T5, which is Sophia the Goddess. Now, we don't actually have an image associated with this, with this encounter. But suffice it to say, the design on the Sephiroth battle was very, very well done.
Yes,
and I'm very excited to see what awaits us in the next Warring Triad.
But they did say this was going to be like an 8-person trial fight because the last Warring Triad was just a solo trial.
What?
Oh,
what?
No.
The last Warring Triad was
that awful thing, remember?
I even forgot about that stupid Garlean thing.
It was nice story, but it was like that's all we got of that.
What are you guys talking about?
You had to go fight.
You fought some dumb asshole. Some asshole Garlean.
Yeah,
trying to take control of the other Warring Triad, and then you just run in, and it's cool because you go in with like your
I felt like
I completely forgot about that.
It was just filler. That was just filler.
It was story to tell you what the Garleans were up to, but the thing is that's all we got of a battle with that. We didn't even have a battle with that leg of the Warring Triad. So did they actually confirm this was going to be like an 8-person?
It's all bad.
Yeah, it's going to be it's got to be an 8-person. Come on.
It better be.
These are taking the place of primal fights.
Containment Bay Extreme on the slide. So, yeah.
So of course it's going to be god damn
Extreme mode 1 person.
I was a little disappointed.
We're going to get 2 new dungeons, and I'm actually kind of excited to talk about these because there are some very cool lore and story implications that come from these. The first new dungeon getting confirmed that we're going to be going to Zulfatol, which I'm both excited by this, but also a little bit disappointed, and let me explain why. Yes, well, I'm excited about this because we've long heard about the Zulfatol region, and it is a large region that exists on the northern part of the map, going as you start to push towards Alamigo. So it's exciting to see that portion of the map get opened up and explored. Why I'm disappointed is a little bit for the same reason that I was a bit skeptical about Keeper of the Lake being a dungeon, and this also just being a dungeon, is that there's not going to be any kind of exploration, that we're going to get the representation of the region on the map through this dungeon, and then they're going to write the rest of it off, which takes a large chunk of real estate out of the potential new zones that we could see in the next expansion.
Yeah, but like that area is a desolate wasteland of nothingness.
Well, we don't know what's really there. I mean,
mountains.
Yes, there is a lot of mountains according to the map, but I mean, we've also heard about a lot of other things that originate in that area, including berries, including specific races that have come from that area. So, I mean, I don't like when big sections of this game or very prominent sections of this game are strictly relegated to dungeons, because nobody really pays attention to the dungeons. It's the thing that we see the most often, but it is also the most transient because nobody pays attention. It's automatic. When you get into a dungeon, you're just trying to get through it as fast as humanly possible and get to the end.
The first time I do it, I always make sure.
Well, of course,
when all that stuff comes out, yeah, and, I mean, that's all that matters the first time, is so you learn the lore, and then it doesn't matter anymore. But like, I always go through and make sure, like, if there's little notes on the floor, I don't care. As the tank, I will hold up the entire party if it's my first time to click on everything. I don't fucking care, because I want to learn the lore.
But what would you rather have? A full area that you can explore, a full zone that you can explore that adds a significant section of geography to the overall world map, which is something that I would definitely want, or do you want an instant zone that is just sort of supposed to be a kind of representation of what exists there? And I think the last couple of dungeons have really kind of proved that the actual design of the dungeon spaces themselves, I think, has taken a hit in Heaven's Word. It's not as intricate, it's not as clever, and it's not quite as involved as it was in the 2.0 era. And I think that also is something that leaves me a little bit skeptical here.
Am I right in thinking that Zulfatol also borders with Garlemald? Like to the northish, aren't they on the southern border?
It's kind of tough to tell, just because we don't have clearly defined sections of the region.
Okay,
so you might be right. You might be right.
I feel like
maybe we'll get Garlemald and we have to go through the dungeon, and then when we get through the dungeon, we'll have a whole new.
I think that's hoping for a lot. I mean, honestly, I'm just really hoping in 4.0 that they finish out the continent. I don't think that we'll see anything off continent.
I was thinking like maybe this is going to be a sneak peek of an area we might see in 4.0. We might see an expansion of Zulfatol.
I doubt it. I'm honestly of the opinion that this is all we're going to see of Zulfatol. That this is meant to be the representation of that section of the map, which bums me out. So,
well, also this is like the not the hard mode version is usually like story driven, right? So, what possible reason would we have to go to Zulfatol in the story?
Well, we
know there's Ixali there.
Yeah, there's we
don't really care about narratively though. Like big Ixali are. Okay.
Well, I think narratively we're either going through this area to go towards Alamigo for some reason or towards Garlemald. That's really all that's up there.
That would be the only reason. Yeah. Like I can't see us going there other than morbid curiosity, which is kind of a silly narrative reason.
So. Yeah, what's up in those sweet mountains up there?
So we've also got hard mode, great Google library.
Actually, I'm excited because
this is going to be cool.
This is the first hard mode of the Heavensward dungeons, correct?
Where is Snowcloak hard mode, Square Enix?
Yeah, we haven't had any other hard modes of Heavensward Dungeons, and for whatever reason, they give us the very last one first.
I feel like Snowcloak Hard was like a reference in an interview somewhere, so we may get that a little bit down the line.
Where's Keeper of the Lake hard mode?
But Great Google Library was one of the best dungeons for lore exposition, and I kind of wonder if they're going to take the opportunity and give us a bit more exposition.
Yeah,
here.
this is a
That's
hard
what
one
I'd
I can
like to
actually
see.
get behind.
Yes, and I mean, if there's any hope,
I can get behind.
if there's any hope that
Wow, Nika, I'm proud of you.
That's all right. Good job.
Nailed it.
If there's anything in this patch that I can hold out some excitement for, I think it's this, and getting, really getting to watch Ethis Asher's video after he plays the dungeon. That's what I think I'm most excited for.
I look at that second picture. Is that the book from the original library, and the guy's like stepped out of it?
It does.
Looks like the same
it. Yeah, it looks like it. That looks like exactly what happened. He finished exiting.
He finished reading the book and gained all of his knowledge and just stepped out.
Yeah. So
they might be releasing this because I know they're having actual lore book releasing soon.
Oh.
And you can only go into the dungeon if you have that lore book.
If you've read the lore book. No.
Right.
Yeah, no. Comes with an item code that unlocks a dungeon. That would be a bold move for an MMO to make, wouldn't it?
I can only imagine
you have to buy the dungeon.
Way to gate that one,
my
SE.
God. I can only imagine the LBR episode that would come out of that.
Oh, God, yeah. There would be some major salt on that one.
3 hours of applause.
Yeah.
The greatest troll in the history of MMOs.
We've got some PvP updates incoming. A new instance zone for the feast and dueling is going to be added. So,
fun.
It looks.
Can I duel you to the death? Tank versus tank.
I guess. I mean, it's a square arena, yay.
How quickly, like, when I was watching this live, the chat just exploded, like, talking about open world dueling, and so I'm like, no, you are not going to get open world.
No.
You crazy people.
You step into the floating dojo and you one-on-one, and that's how we do this.
Right click your intended opponent to challenge to a duel, and then if you click accept, you just teleport to a magical arena. Or what? I don't know.
I don't know.
You gotta get into a party of 2 and queue up.
Yeah.
Probably,
Go into the zone, hit the little drop down button, hit duel, and then you'll be placed in a waiting queue.
I bet much like in the way
For 40 minutes.
I bet much like in the way that when you walk into a city zone, it flags you for rested XP, that there will be only certain areas that you'll be able to flag PvP.
Do like triple triad rules.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yep.
And you'll be able to purchase a furnishing that allows you to duel in your house. It's a boxing arena, like a triple triad.
That would be cool.
That
would be very cool, but I don't see it happening.
You don't want to know what would happen on Balmung with that
maybe
item.
they'll put it in Gold Saucer, like that boxing game from FF7.
Oh God, can you imagine? The role play cream corn fights or the
Can I?
sexy,
Yes, I can.
foxy boxing that would go on? Oh.
I don't have to imagine. I get to experience it.
Oh no.
Ugh.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's not good. It's all bad.
Rogan and on Rogan and mud wrestling.
Yeah.
No.
Stop.
Yeah.
Live from the
Let's do it.
Coliseum.
Oh, dude, my whole femoral link shell. That's going to be our next event.
Wet t-shirt contest.
Let's do it.
God,
I remember having some pretty big titties. You can't tell me that a wet t-shirt contest wouldn't be pretty fantastic.
Man, so not cool.
that whole basement just smells like gunpowder and musk.
And ass.
Ugh.
Why does it smell like Astroglide?
We're also getting a scrimmage practice mode.
Yeah, I guess.
And a spectator mode. Okay, I want somebody, one
spectator mode.
person,
Yes.
one person tell me the appeal of a spectator mode for PvP.
That we get to sit around and call PvP matches on stream now.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This is made specifically for Limit Break Radio's success. They made this for us.
Is this the olive branch?
It is.
Oh, man.
I think it is.
We're sorry about Verminion. Your spectator mode.
Except they're not.
They're not
sorry about Verminion. They're trying still, and we haven't gotten there. Oh my God, I've got my own salt mountain when we get there.
It's gonna be great.
Vermilion's the greatest thing in the world.
So, you can follow certain characters a maximum of 8 people viewing one match, and spectators can see buffs and debuffs of the players. This is going to be fun.
Okay, you can see buffs and debuffs of all players. Like, you have someone watching you who's on voice chat with you. Can you call out to them things that they wouldn't be able to see normally without tab targeting around as an advantage?
I wonder if they'll do it like League of Legends style, where there's like a 30-second delay.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, because if it's long enough, most of those buffs will wear.
So,
yeah.
8 people can view one match.
Yeah.
Those queue times are going to be so much larger than the actual PvP matches.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, more people will want to watch than will want to actually PvP. Holy shit. Never actually thought of that.
I don't see the point in watching a match. Unless you're a streamer and you're doing something fun with it that way. I can't see a point in watching. Why wouldn't you just want to play?
I don't know.
How often do you PvP, Nika?
But a lot more than I would want to watch one.
Okay, but do you want to PvP?
Sometimes I do. I think it's fun. If the queue times weren't 45 minutes, I would queue up more often.
That is something that a lot of
They
people are
need to
complaining
work
about.
on
Like
that,
the PvP queue times are horrendous.
They really, really are.
Get rid of
Okay,
the
well,
grand
how
company
about
gates.
this, Nika? I'm trying to do some work by creating an outline or something, and I can't really dedicate my time to PvP, but I want to watch people PvP. How about then?
Okay, but again, goes along with streaming, podcasting, whatever. But if you're an actual player,
I didn't say
and you're
streaming
not
or
a podcaster or
podcasting
a
anything.
streamer.
I'm doing work, Nika, something I know that you don't do as a teacher, but that's fine.
Oh, you did not go there.
Burn.
Oh my God.
Burn.
Oh, it's getting rude up in here.
I just think the actual average person would not really care to watch a PvP rather than play it. I don't know.
Okay,
free company role play event where we all go to the racetracks and bet. Oh, we can bet on people PvPing.
Oh, there you go.
The underground gambling scene.
We've already made it more fun than the actual game makes it.
Oh my God, this is gonna be great.
No, here in drawing back from my experience in Warcraft 3, people never ever want to go against another person and play and fight them, but they always want to watch other people fight.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to get embarrassed.
Yeah, I think you're going to have a surprising amount of people watching this.
Yeah, what if we let spectators vote for the winner and then we do a weekly segment about it on the show?
There you go.
But I wonder if there's any kind of way to choose which one you're going to watch. Because, like, someone was saying Mr. Happy wants to do tournaments and people can watch it. But, like, if there's other people also doing that at the same time, what if you queue up to watch somebody else's match? That's lame.
Well, presumably with a tournament, you'd be doing the scrimmage mode and then you just watch that match. Like, I assume you have a...
It doesn't say you can.
Do you get to pick who you watch? They actually don't say that, do they?
They sure don't.
Let's just spend 40 minutes on talking about the PvP viewing feature. Like,
it's more exciting than Verminion.
Oh my God.
That, you know, I won't deny that one.
Grand companies are getting an update. We're going to be seeing the platoon feature implemented, and we've actually got a bit of a screenshot of it. Some people comparing this to trusts from FF11.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that it's totally similar to that, but it does seem like a pretty cool addition. I wish I knew a little bit more what was going on here.
No, it looks like, okay, that user interface looks like, okay, this is your platoon, you get 8 NPCs and you level them up or something.
Or like, you think you raise their affection? I don't know. Here's what I know. I was watching this live, and while I don't understand like basically a word that's on that screen, here's what I do know. The chat started getting real mad during this, and I don't know why, but everyone started getting real pissed off during this.
Is that right?
What kind of, like, they were pissed off that it existed, or pissed off about the way that they were?
It was just a whole lot of WTF and this is stupid and stuff like that. So I don't know.
It just makes me wonder, because weren't trusts implemented in 11 because there weren't enough people playing and they needed more ways for solo people to do party content?
Yeah, how about that?
So why do we need this right now?
Why indeed do we need this?
But they also announced this.
Savage.
They announced this back in like April, so I'm wondering like what their original.
I don't know. To me, this just looks like no. What
to the chat are saying dating sim.
That's funny. To me, what this looks like is it just looks like an alternative to using your Chocobo companion. That's it. That's all it looks like to me.
It looks like a way cooler alternative.
I mean, it's a little bit more involved, but I don't think it's going to serve much more of a purpose than your Chocobo companion already does.
But I mean, that's kind of, I don't know, this 8 NPCs, and then none of them are like story NPCs. They just look like generic, like part of this certain army NPCs.
Not a fan.
But I wonder if you can kind of create the way that they look and stuff, and they actually become your buddies. That would be cool.
I don't know.
Like a retainer?
No, I think you'll probably have to recruit
like
him.
an adventuring fellow.
Yeah. No, I don't see that happening.
I don't know, but I've played with some bads in this game, and some of them might be better.
Yeah.
That's what I do know.
Go ahead.
If I can take 3 of these assholes into a dungeon so I don't have to deal with like the Ryuichis of the world, then I am set.
I don't know. I think this is going to breed a whole bunch of new bad players.
I don't know. Maybe we can do this in Palace of the Dead.
Why
would it? Hang on.
Because you don't have people actually, and I know in some dungeons you have people actually explaining fights and explaining rotations and stuff like that. Well, I mean,
why would you think that you'd be able to take these into a dungeon, though?
I thought
I think they said that was the point.
Yeah, that was the point.
I don't see. Why would you be able to take? That seems dumb to me.
It seems pointless if you can't take them into dungeons.
I think
what the hell are you going to do with them if you can't?
As a companion,
Envy in the chat
as basically like a chocobo companion.
While you do
they
yokai
claim
farming?
you can take them into dungeons, but they didn't say whether or not you actually go with them or you send them in like a retainer.
If you send them in as a retainer, that'd be the most stupidest thing ever because we already have that system called retainers.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But if you have to take these, if you go solo into dungeons, it's going to breed a whole bunch of bads because you're just going to fire one and ice one the whole time if you're a black mage going into stuff like Gordius or Midas or shit like that.
Well, bads are going to bad no matter how you get them up.
But some bads are willing to learn more so than others. And so if they do everything solo without anyone ever helping or explaining to them, then that will create more bads in the end.
Will it, though? Will it?
Because the bads that have potentials to learn won't learn.
No, anyone who has potential to learn will learn because the system... Dude, are you really honestly going to sit here and tell me that there is a human element to this game that can teach you something that the game doesn't teach you itself? Through menus, through walkthroughs, everything is displayed for you in excruciating detail for 14. There is nothing that is held back, hidden, or even remotely vague, or it's all very, very, very specific.
Things like full strategies or that kind of stuff. Like even as a tank, even in like newer dungeons, someone would randomly say, "Oh, you can actually pull this around the corner," and I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that." And then I would learn because somebody told me. Like if I just ran everything with NPCs by myself without anyone else.
You guys are talking about like
the most niche things ever.
No, well, first of all, you're talking about like the erosion of the FF14 player community because of the removal of the human element. And what I'm saying is that the human element has already been long removed, except for like Juxta had just pointed out, that incredibly niche, narrow thing that Nico was saying. There are very, very, very narrow things that you need the human element to learn, but 99% of this game is how it's supposed to be played is intrinsic through the fucking game and system itself. Whether if it's not explained through dialogues, then it's definitely explained in the diminishing returns that using shitty abilities will be able to provide anyone who's paying the least amount of attention.
Then why do ice mages still exist?
Because people are stupid. Because there are retards that play this game sometimes. I don't know.
Maybe if you have 3 of these asshole trusts in your party and you're playing as an ice mage, you won't be able to complete the dungeon because your trust can't make up the difference because your ass is an ice mage. Maybe it'll help.
It might.
Or maybe the AI of these are going to be really stupid and the freaking AI are spamming ice. Wouldn't that be?
Or maybe they'll be, even the AI is like, hey, stop using ice moves. Cut it out. Even the AI yells
the game
at you.
will yell at you.
That would be amazing.
That would actually be really funny because then you can't sit there. I want to report my bot to you, Square Enix. It was mean.
Your game is making me have the feel bad.
The game is telling me how to play and I don't like it.
It's my $12.
And I'll drag and kick as long as I want.
There's going to be a new Grand Company rank for the first time.
Shit.
Oh my God.
Since 1.0.
0.0.
Amazing.
4 years being the last rank, I am finally going to rank up.
Yeah. There's going to be new gear available from this rank up and from the exchange NPC. Hopefully it looks good.
From it.
I would like to actually see decent gear that is themed after the nations, because the last time that we got that was a long time. No, yes, it was Hunts.
Yeah.
You're right. It was Hunts, and I think that they could definitely get more ornate. They could get more aggressive. They could get more badass for sure. So hopefully that's going to be something that we see with these new Grand Company rank pieces of gear.
Make each piece cost 50,000 Grand Company.
That's what. Well, that was the other thing. Well, we're going to get a cap raise too, so that's going to be really nice.
Actually, you know what? No, I need my Grand Company seals for the anima, so make them cost 1.
Okay. Okay. We've got a new feature that's coming down the pike. It's called Wondrous Tales.
What are you talking about? You don't even know what this is yet.
I am trying to look at the screenshot and I cannot decipher this at all.
You don't even know what it is. You can't decide exactly. Why are you looking?
It's just a nut kid on the screen.
What's wrong with a nut kid? I love nut kids.
I'll bet you do.
Back there, 7 out of 9. There's like a bingo 4 in a row.
We got.
This is great development going on.
Well, you got like zones and
wants to create something and hires the aid of an adventurer. It's a book with many adventures and rewards. So like a challenge log?
It's got like pictures and stuff.
Pictures.
Maybe we can start scrapbooking in Final Fantasy. That'd be fun.
B16.
There's a tombstone on there and an Allegan piece.
023.
You know how the date up there at the top says September 6th?
You know, I would not have objected if they were going back and re-examining stuff like the weekly challenge log, because I think that a lot of people have that's fallen off. A lot of people's radars.
Yeah, because it doesn't scale with your Heavensward XP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
the dungeon ones are still worth it, like doing 5 dungeons from the.
Yeah, I'm not saying that nobody does them, because you sort of do them just as as a matter of course. But I don't see anyone like really going out of their way or spending time like, I can't log off until I finish this last part of my challenge log. If that goes by the wayside and gets hit in the reset, nobody really gives a shit. So
I can't log off without doing my last Wondrous Tale.
But I don't think this is not. I don't think that this is going to.
Come on, look at him. He's so cute.
Shut up.
Someone in the chat said Nutter's gonna nut.
Nutter's gonna
stop. No.
God damn it.
You missed that. I know you did.
No.
Al, I saw it, and you know who it was? It was Skuro. You're repeating Skuro's juke, Nika. How do you feel about
juke?
How do you feel about that?
It's gone off my screen. I didn't know who said it.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care. Sometimes Skuro says things that are relevant, and I thought that was relevant.
Oh my god.
Was that a defense of Skuro? Nika, do we have to eject you from the show?
I just thought it was funny.
All right, we're getting some gold.
He's not here. I had to do it for him.
Getting some gold saucer updates, triple triad. An instanced battle hall will be added for each data center.
Yay!
So that means I can teleport to a hall and face people on other servers?
Sounds like it.
It sounds like it, yeah.
Data centers.
It's because nobody is doing it enough on servers, like localized servers, that they have to open it up. Same thing with Lords.
Triple Triad sucks.
Same thing with Lords of Verminion, which is now going to be added to Duty Finder. And hang on, I gotta pull the show over and just express my irritation with this move, because I just stop to realize and think about the fact that we're getting a Duty Finder for Lords of Verminion before we're getting a roulette for old raids. The old binding coils and the old crystal towers sit and collect dust. No one has a single reason to do them, except maybe they might affect some dialogue options in 3.4. Meanwhile, they could incentivize that very well with some tome bonuses and having a raid roulette. But instead, no. We get Lords of Verminion added to the Duty Finder.
Nika. Does that mean that we can play? What?
Donation, Nika.
I see.
Yeah, nice job.
Sorry.
Thanks, Evil Hippie. Appreciate
So does that mean that we can play Lords of Verminion without being in Gold Saucer?
Yeah,
probably.
They think that the reason nobody wants to play is because nobody wants to go.
That's correct.
Makes sense. Yep.
Nika just defended Score. Mute her.
Boy,
She did. The chat's got pitchforks and flames.
Yeah, you have lost the support of the chat, Nika. You should probably. Evil Hippie and Scape Death are furious for your defense of Skuro.
Oh God.
Did you hear that, chat? Nika just pooped on you.
Pooped on them. Yes, I did.
Wow.
Seriously though, literally this conversation happened at SE where Yoshi walked up to his team of yes men and said, "You know what, guys? I think no one's doing for Minion because they don't want to go to the Gold Saucer anymore." And his people were like, "Yeah, that was it. Let's fix it."
You know, part of the I will say part of the reason I don't.
No, it's not.
No,
Don't
not
you
just for
lie
Minion,
to me.
but for Minion and Chocobo races is because they're in separate zones that you have to zone to.
Liar.
You would not do Chocobo races.
Filthy liar.
Okay, with how much I'm like obsessed with MGP and getting all those cards and shit like that, the fact that like you can actually get quite a few thousand from doing the challenge log of Chocobo races every week, and every week I think about it and I'm like, I don't even remember how to get to the fucking Chocobo zone. Like, it's somewhere in the Gold Saucer, but just by running around to it, I can't get to it.
You're saying you would do it. You would do Verminion and Chocobo racing.
Maybe not Verminion, but if Chocobo racing, if Chocobo racing was right next to the mini cactpot guy, I would probably do it.
Chocobo racing, I actually don't horribly disagree with. Like, maybe I would do it, but Verminion, no.
I might do it.
It's got its own aetherite.
So why are they not putting Chocobo racing in the Duty Finder too? Why? I just Verminion.
Why is there no raid roulette yet? That doesn't make any fucking sense. Why are we wasting any more development time at all on anything related to Lords of Verminion? This is objectively an event that failed. Nobody liked
I would rather
it.
eat 6 sticks than listen to anything from Skoro or his new mouthpiece on the
Damn.
Savage.
Look, there is no reason to do Lords of Verminion. It failed. Okay, I don't know why this seems to be some pet project that Yoshi-P has held out for.
Because it's on par with Heavensward.
It's stupid. It's really, really bad. It's a bad addition. It's a bad move. They needed to make a move to say, look, like we have an idea of what we're doing with our content, not this shit.
Okay, no, see, it makes sense now that Lords of Verminion have a sponsored team in the FFFL. They need to push it harder, and they need to make it more accessible to everybody. So that's why they're adding it to the Duty Finder. And people sometimes put it in the Party Finder raid roulette.
Do you honestly believe that this is going to get one person to fucking do Lords of Verminion?
I'll do it. That's one person.
You're the problem.
You won't. Yeah, I know you won't.
I'll do it.
No, you so won't. I know.
I'll do it once, and then I'll be justified.
No, it's
justified.
It doesn't make any sense. This is going to be another portion of the game that never gets any kind of traffic, and it frustrates me because there are other things that we've been waiting for, asking for, and are frankly needed in this game that are going completely ignored by the development staff. How do we get Lords of Verminion Duty Finder before we get any kind of addition of Binding Coil or Crystal Tower to the roulette structure? That doesn't make sense. Give me more of a reason to log in every week. Give me more stuff to do each week. A week is a long time for a reset like that. Man, give me more shit to do.
But if you add raid roulette to the duty,
LOV buffs are a real roundabout way by Yoshi to mine more salt.
If you add the raid to a duty finder, like add a raid roulette, then that's gonna output more tombstones into the game, and that might make imbalances.
What?
Imbalances.
What are you talking about?
Imbalances.
Can you actually bring a real point to the table instead of just talking nonsense? I mean, you're trying to troll here because what you're saying is just fucking stupid. But I would not mind an actual thought or opinion in this instead of you being a fucking smartass. Could we get that? Possibly. I mean,
what defense is there? What could we say? We're like, oh, no, this makes sense because it doesn't. Makes no goddamn sense.
But being a smartass really helps move the discussion along, right?
It's all he's got.
It makes things funnier.
This is this is the part that bothers me the most. There should not be any additions to Lords of Verminion in any way, shape, or form. I mean, honestly, what I need to see from Square Enix at this point is just an admission that section of content failed and was a waste of time and development.
What I want to see is whenever
that they'll never make that mistake again.
Or if
that's
they
what
ever
I want to see.
release that companion app that they did talk about, which I assume they didn't mention in this live letter,
Never gonna
then they
happen.
remove Verminion from the game and put it on the companion app. I'd be okay with that.
I would like to see empirical data on who is actually doing this to justify
Go to the fucking leaderboards. There are 3 people on the leaderboards on any given server.
So I want to see what they're seeing to justify this shit, because it's
the 3 people that are playing. Or Square Enix.
Square Enix.
I no Square. To me, this has got to be Yoshi-P's like pet thing. Like this has got to be like something personal.
Maybe
to
he's
him.
got a cousin that didn't do so well in school in programming, and he's got felt bad, and that's what.
I mean, come on. But between this and Yokai Watch, like fucking.
Okay,
come
Lloyd
on.
in the chat is saying that the reason, obviously, because they own Lords of Vermilion, and they're trying to plug their own game. But
oh my god, that is
how many
worst
people that Lord of
crossover.
Vermilion liked it so much that they went out and looked at Lords of Vermilion?
None.
Exactly. So what is the point?
There is
Don't try
none.
to tell
There
me
really
that's the reason why, because that's bullshit. You didn't ask for this.
Like I said, I mean, between this and Yokai Watch, like how much, like, if I found out that Lords of Verminion and Yokai Watch was the reason that we were getting 2 dungeons every patch instead of 3, like honestly, would that wouldn't bother you at all? Like, because I honestly feel like we didn't get half of this cutesy, like kitschy bullshit in 2.0. Nope. We didn't get a quarter of this, and yet our content is taking a serious hit in Heavensward, and we get twice the amount of cutesy, kitschy bullshit. You have to wonder, at what point was time and development divested from good, legitimate areas of this game and put into this nonsense? And how much longer do we have to put up with it? I mean, can we get confirmation that this can end in Heavensward? That we're gonna that the development team is not going to continue on dumb development pursuits like Lords of Verminion that have objectively failed? I mean, because we spent a good 20 minutes at the top of the show going over why we would think they would justify the changes to the raid structure. And we're like, oh, well, they're looking at the numbers. They're looking at the data. Well, if they're actually looking at data, why are they doing anything with Lords of Verminion? They shouldn't be doing anything with it. That's a waste of time. No one cares about it.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, because no one's doing it, they wasted all that development time and man hours creating it. So now they want to put more man hours into it so people start doing it.
But at what point do you just say it's a
cost fallacy?
It's a gangrenous wound and just cut it off and let it go?
And that's the thing. We've seen other content that has gone by the wayside, that they've stopped supporting, that they could have found ways to continue supporting, and that the community actually liked. Triple Triad was well received by the community. It's fallen off recently, but it hasn't received as much support as we thought it would. 6 cards per patch is not exactly a lot of additions to that system. But objectively, way more people were playing Triple Triad, and they've let that fall off a long time ago. So why continue on this?
I wouldn't complain if I saw a big addition to Triple Triad, like a new tournament feature or something cool and big for Triple Triad.
Put Triple Triad into fucking Duty Finder, not Lords of fucking Verminion.
Triple Triad's Instance Battle Hall. I think that's their answer to that.
I guess, but I mean, this just is really, really pointless. And even if it took half a day, this is a waste of development time for Square Enix and just a bad bad pursuit on their part. So there is also going to be more jumbo cackpot. Players can now purchase more tickets for a maximum.
Lose
of
more money.
Who does the jumbo?
I forget about the jumbo.
I do it every week.
I don't.
Do you?
I win a whole 30 MGP every week.
I forget to like.
Do
even
you
if
win that, or is that how much you get,
It's
and then
the
you're down
consolation
and
prize.
down? You have not negative 70.
even if I do it, I forget to reclaim the.
Yeah.
I forget to claim
I do
the.
that a
It's so far away.
Yeah, that's part of it.
But the thing is that the cool thing I guess about this is that you decide, do I pick three, if you pick the same number 3 times and you win, you win the reward 3 times, I would assume, right? You get 3 million.
I'd assume so.
Yeah, I think so.
So you can choose to do that or to pick 3 different numbers completely. Okay. That's not a bad addition. I'm not going to complain about that.
I just don't know what I would use the MGP on, even if I won.
You just hoard
I
it
would
until
buy
they
the
add
cloud
more
card
stuff.
and the Fenrir mount.
I guess, yeah. That would be the only answer, would be to hoard it until there's more. Yeah. So housing's going to see some changes. Some additions rather. We're actually going to see the addition of apartments.
Look at that.
And we had sort of speculated that maybe this might be a specific housing type, but it looks like it looks like they're specific plots.
Yeah, that's a big ass building.
Yeah.
Looks like you can go into.
It looks like it is a type where it says shared spaces available, and it shows people that be sitting in what looks like an apartment lobby.
Yeah, but I think that this might be a complete.
I think it's a whole new
Just
type
talk
of
over me.
house.
Just talk.
Like
No.
A house type?
No, I
yeah,
don't.
yeah, like there's an apartment, there's a shared lobby where you can go
Nika,
into.
there's no plot of land that's that big in this entire game. There's none. I think it's going to be a whole
its own area. It's like its own type of house.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole new ward.
Oh yeah, probably.
You can't place it. It's going to be there, and then you go, buy a room.
I think it's like an apartment building, like yours or mine, like our condo buildings. Like there's a lobby where you can share this space with others, and then you can like go up the elevator and go to your apartment.
I just don't think it's gonna be like player ownable.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Like we had speculated for a little bit that you would buy a plot and be able to place an apartment building. Yeah,
charge rent.
I want to own the apartment.
Charge rent to other players.
Yeah,
that would be
exactly.
great. Yeah. Slumlord ahoy!
That would be that would be awesome. But that's clearly not happening.
No, I don't think so.
So I think it's going to be its own
I think
own
this
area.
way it allows everyone to have a house. It's going to be smaller, obviously. But it'll have multiple rooms like an apartment would.
Yeah, it's going to be somewhere in between the size of a personal room. I would imagine like maybe 3 personal rooms if you laid them, or maybe 4 if you put them in a.
Is that confirmed or just
no?
speculation?
I'm going to guess.
Because it's $500K.
Yeah, it's $500,000, just sort of based on the cost. I think that's what we're probably going to be looking at.
Damn it! I wanted it to be a monthly rent that you have to pay, and you get evicted if you don't.
That'd be awesome.
Dude, that'd be great.
That would be kind of funny.
It's an apartment.
But I'm still not kind of sure what hole this exactly fills. I mean,
It fills the fact that people want their own personal houses and they can't because there's no space.
Or a lot of FCs can't afford a house.
Room.
Yeah, exactly. Get a room. Get a personal room.
A room does not give you. This gives you a chocobo stable at least.
guess.
You don't get a garden, but it gives you more space than just a room to decorate. It gives
And
you
if-
a house.
if your
then it
FC
has
can't afford a house, can't
lobby,
you not
and
get
then-
one?
And I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. And it's only $500K, which is way cheaper than a small house. But it'll still have multiple rooms, so you can feel like you have a house to go back to.
Damn.
It's gonna be like a homeless shelter.
Basically.
Have very active free companies, so like even though your free company has a house, like I don't know, you're not attached to your free company, so then you end up buying all this money and placing stuff, and then your free company goes on the shitter.
But Nika, aren't you concerned to be able to own one with your husband? Don't you want to be able to own one with your husband? Isn't that an important thing?
Share with this?
Huh?
Can you not share apartments with other people?
No, you can.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, me and Cern already have a small house together, so.
I was just making fun of you.
Oh, that's what I've been waiting on.
Buy an apartment and share it with him. I think if you can share with people, then this is cool. I'll buy one.
So we've got the addition of aquariums coming.
Yes!
Yay!
It's
finally.
It's not the furnishing I wanted from 11, but it's a good one to replace it. I want mannequins. That's the one I want. But aquariums are a good start.
So
there's any way to display gear like on the wall.
Yeah, I want a way to display my gear like on mannequins and stuff. That'd be sweet.
So there's various sizes of the tanks, and depending on the size of the tank, that will determine how many how many fish your aquarium can hold.
Can you
you actually catch the fish and put them in.
That's pretty
Do
cool.
you have to do that?
Say, can you choose the fish or does it choose for you?
I think you. Well, I mean, you can probably buy the fish, but
so
you
all
put
the
fish in.
fish that retainers bring back, I can finally put them somewhere.
Only if you have an apartment, Nika.
That's actually a pretty cool feature, and I'm kind of into that.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Everyone who's on the LBR Free Company, just send me all the aquariums you get, because our house is going to be nothing but a maze of aquariums.
No,
it's like a wall.
Send him all of the fish. Just send him all the fish. Not
give me
the
your
aquariums. Don't matter. We'll get the aquariums at some point.
Oh my gosh, do you have to feed them or they die?
That'd be awesome to see floating fish in there.
If that's the case, can we just have an entire room of dead fish?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Did they say anything about upping how many furnishings we can put in a house?
They did. I don't.
A while ago.
It's never happening.
Yeah, it was mentioned in an interview a while back, but it was not part of the live letter. There's going to be orchestrion playlists, so you can set up multiple songs to be playing in
That's
your.
nice.
But what do you
Free
need
Company
beyond
house.
papaya?
And
everything.
Open-faced mount cabinets. I don't know what that means, but
Open-faced mount cabinet.
Okay, so you know, like the dresser or the bookshelf.
Like taxidermy our mount?
What? No! Shut up, Nika. You know that bookshelf that's right behind Kooky? You can put stuff on that. So I assume a open mount cabinet would just be like a cabinet that's open and you can put your little trinkets on there.
Oh,
Neat.
instead of on top, you can put stuff inside of it.
Yeah.
I think I like Nika's taxidermy retainer idea, and then we can dress them how we want. And I got my mannequins finally.
Yes. Mount cabinets, not retainers.
Boy, Nika's defending Skuro, trying to get our retainers all killed. What a weird
I did it
day.
in the chat. The only reason I defended him was because I was mad that he thought of it before I did.
You suck at everything.
There's going to be double cross hot bar implemented for controller players.
Catering to controllers again.
This hot bar has been dubbed the W cross hot bar for people who want to be faster with a controller and more like complex hot bars. You double click the L and R buttons to swap left or right side macros. There's a total of 8 cross hot bars and more double hot bar features. So that's going to be good for controller-based players. For exploratory missions, they're going to be seeing some adjustments. Now, we've been hearing a lot.
Being diadem or being the retainers of your airship?
That's a great question. We're not
Exploratory
totally
missions are airship retainers.
Exactly. Right? Yes, they are the airship missions. So, we're not entirely sure what's going to be.
They're just going to add more airship ventures.
So
it brings back I 235 gear.
Yeah, exploratory missions. Some changes are coming in 3.5. They are adjusting the requirements. So get lost gatherers.
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
It probably means less reasons for gatherers to go and take up space in diadem.
I don't know.
What?
I don't know. Who wrote that?
Probably Skuro.
It's your bae, Skuro. Nika.
Still refer to him like that.
Adjustments to spoil exchange rates, and there will be gear added that will be I-235. I would imagine this sounds like this is a diadem adjustments.
I-235 because this is the next leg of Alex, so that means that the next eye level is going to be like 260, right?
Look,
why wouldn't this at least be 250?
Look, I got to say something right here because this has been an issue all episode. We got shit in the chat room last week. Why do you guys always talk over Nika? Why is it that you guys are always talking over her? I don't know if you're hearing this in the headphones, guys, but Nika's talking over us this entire show. I can't even get I can't get a word in edgewise here, for crying out loud.
It has to do with Skype delay then, because when I start talking, nobody's talking on my end.
Oh, we're in the middle of talking. God Almighty!
You needed killing.
So yes, with gear being I-235. This sounds like they're simply just going to be adjusting the level of gear that comes out of doing the event in an attempt to get people back in there. That doesn't sound like there are any systemic changes that are happening with Diadem, and that to me is troubling.
I didn't just realize I said 3.5.
Yeah.
not 3.4.
Right.
So like the I-235 is not going to be anywhere near relevant.
Nope.
So who cares?
What are we at right now?
We're at 240.
We're
at 240 right now.
Right now.
Right, that 3.4 is going to bring 250 and
This has got to be... no, you know what?
You're old news.
Now that I'm thinking about this, you know what? This has got to be rewards for doing exploratory missions. But that's weird because they're exploratory missions for the entire free company, but yet now you're going to get gear out of them too? This doesn't make any sense.
This is a troll?
If this is the adjustments to diadem, this is terrible. If this is the adjustments to just exploratory missions, it doesn't make any goddamn sense. I can't really make heads or tails of this, but I mean, this does seem to indicate that they are looking at readjusting diadem, which they have talked about in the past. But I mean, this just makes me wonder even more what's going to actually be changing.
Yeah, the people in the chat are saying that all that secondary stuff is coming in 3.4, like the gear changes and stuff, and then in 3.5, the things that say coming in 3.5 means that that's where the big changes will be, and we actually don't know what they're going to be.
3.4 is still going to increase our item level, though. Right?
Yeah, I'm not sure why 235 is not going to be relevant even in 3.4.
It's really not. And
why do you even bother living?
I don't understand what the purpose of the change is supposed to be. I mean, maybe to try to make it a little bit more appealing and relevant as opposed to what drops out of there right now, like 210, yeah. But I still think that's it's a bad change. It's a bad idea, and I'm worried for the future of diadem. I was really kind of hoping that they'd be able to adjust it and pull it out and make some systemic changes to make it more appealing.
Maybe in 3.5.
I just so you get 235 gear.
3.5.
Of course, we know we of course can count on this for every patch. New elegant tomestones. Every other patch will be added. Scriptures is what they're going to be called.
Great.
Tomestones of scriptures?
Yep.
That's weird.
I miss when they were like biology and mythology and cryptozoology, Scientology.
There's also
penisology.
There's also going to be some new tome gear. They are concentrating on a Charlayan design for these gear sets. Now we've got the tank that is displayed right here, right out front.
Paladin.
Oh, that looks cool.
I do like that.
It is I like that. I like heavy armor designs.
Yeah.
I'm not so much a fan of the crown. I like much more closed helm designs, but being Paladin, I guess that really does make sense. And if this was the overall tank gear, I would probably be pretty satisfied with that. Of course, being tome gear, we can kind of extrapolate that it will be dyeable somewhere down the line. And again, I think dyed versions of this would look very, very, very cool.
Yeah.
So let's see what else we got here. We got some previews of other armor sets. This looks like a mage right here. We'll pop that over here.
More like a cook.
He's like a hipster mage. Like I imagine that guy's got like like the lyrics of a Sigur Rós song tattooed in Eorzean below his neckline.
Yeah, is that a goatee?
It does look like a goatee.
Yeah.
I don't know
Do
that
elves have goatees?
Is that I
don't think anyone has.
Are they showing off some new facial hair?
Square Enix.
Oh, Square Enix.
Snuck that one right in.
I gotta say that friggin' haircut is terrible though.
That whole thing looks weird. Like that looks like a Lalafell's head on an Elvon's body.
You're not wrong.
The hat looked really stupid. Yeah. I gotta say that like top hat mushed one side down that's not a great look that they've got going on for him. But let's see what else we've got.
Ninja.
We've got a third set. There we go. Juxta will be able to take a look at Ninja there for you. What do you think?
That looks pretty good. I like how it's a little simple, but it's still.
What do you think of the it's like a band? It's like a cocked bandana over one of the eyes.
It looks like she's kind of not quite sure how it works. It's supposed to go over your mouth, but she's like over the eye.
Yeah, that is a little bit like they just got confused.
It's like
keeping the sweat out of your eyes.
A really big eye patch.
Yeah,
from the
really
neck
big one.
down.
Unnecessarily big eye patch.
Yeah. That looks like old Red Mage relic armor. Like the Dynamis Relic armor, that body piece doesn't look like Red Mage to you?
I mean, the fit of it does, sort of.
I think it looks like Red Mage to me.
No.
The jack boots and everything?
It's not even red. It's
well, I mean,
red
obviously
highlights.
it's not.
The design of it does look similar.
I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
Wow, you're stupid.
I don't see it at all.
Man, you're
I don't know. I mean,
okay.
The
Go
new
hang out with Skrull.
I'll kill you. Go away.
The new gear designs look all right. They're not terrible. So we've got some new crafter recipes, some monk gear, and Knuckles being shown off here. And
I hate the monk Knuckles that are like big pointy things like that. That's like so
horrible.
stupid. So
bigger than his arms.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I liked that when it came in WoW the first time I saw it.
I mean, I feel like it would look way better on anything except for a Lalafell.
Maybe.
It looks. I think that looks goofy on a Lalafell.
But
I mean,
they have to have race parity. Gosh,
I think they'll scale.
I cannot believe they show off gear on Lalafell.
I
It doesn't
honestly
make any
can't
sense.
either.
You know what?
I really can't.
It doesn't.
If these Knuckles are like that big proportionally on like a Myth or a Mikote, so
Yeah.
like if that blade comes all the way down to the fucking ground,
Right. That's
that'd
actually
be
kind of
pretty
cool.
awesome.
I would
Yeah,
actually
all
kind of
right.
be into
Yeah,
that.
okay.
But Gulkas would have like the biggest ones in
Galka?
the
What
history
game are you playing?
or whatever.
Tomato apricot.
That would be like
yes.
Did you
That'd be
hear
like
how?
great
Wait,
sword.
hang on. Did you hear how offended she got too? Like she
Totally am,
she
man.
was
You're disgracing my race.
legitimately
Get out.
angry that I called it Gulka and not fucking Rogadin.
Oh, why you so angry?
Like legitimately, like there was some real frustration in that one.
Yes, Galka had tails, for goodness sakes. Fuck that.
They did.
all Rogadins have tails in the front.
Well, they also all.
Oh my god.
Da-da-da-da-da. Dick jokes.
Oh.
All right. So yeah, I mean that's I also want to say that the body piece looks pretty cool. Like that's not a bad body piece design right there.
I feel like I've seen it before.
There are much better monk body pieces in the game.
I don't know. The shoulders are pretty cool. Like the shoulder, the armored shoulder, the pauldrons with the sort of more cloth look. I actually kind of dig.
I don't like how it's sleeveless with like metal shoulder.
I would like.
plates.
See,
I think
that wouldn't work well in practice. I think.
Maybe one shoulder pad.
What?
I feel like
to
there's
see.
actually a lot of body pieces that do that already. That have the single
Yeah,
pauldron.
you're right, yeah.
So
Asymmetricalness.
yeah.
That's cool.
So there's some RP
Oh,
stuff.
this is Ascalia stuff.
What?
Our RP stuff.
Why is that my stuff?
Do you
Actually,
really
this
care?
is useful, to
Like,
be honest.
is
Now you
it?
know who to not talk
Is
to.
it?
Well, on
Status.
Well, on
For roleplay.
Sargatanis
You're not
with no
wrong.
people on it, you're right. It's not useful. But yeah.
No, okay, so for those of us wondering who don't know, you get a new status if you are RPing. So you can put a little icon that people know that if you talk to me, I will respond to you in character.
Yeah, it's an I'm in character status. That's all it is.
I mean, which is cool, which is useful
it's fine.
also on an because there are people on Belmont who also don't RP, right? So
Look,
All five of them.
I just like the fact that they're making the people that I need to bully easy to identify. Okay, I see.
Are you trying to say this is the pocket protector of?
Yes,
of
exactly.
FF14?
I see the RP icon.
Whoa!
And I
Not
know,
cool, man.
I know I've got to give that person a swirly, a wedgie, a wet willy, and I've got to give him pink belly. So, I mean, all four of those have got to be hit before I can move on. And so no, I actually kind of appreciate this change because I know who to harass endlessly.
Dexter, please just sit around a Nero with that icon up and just respond only like your character.
I don't think very many people on Sargatanis will use this icon.
Yeah, I doubt
I don't
it.
think there's much of an active roleplay scene
But I
on
feel
Sarg.
like at least it allows the people, in all seriousness, who do want to RP to find other RPers on their server where it may be difficult otherwise.
Choke me, daddy.
It's not hard on Belmont. Jesus.
Whoa, that took a very different turn.
All I'm saying is that if you're really serious about role playing, go fuck yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Wow.
That's all I'm saying.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, is
But
there?
if they're only semi-serious and only want to roleplay on Tuesdays and Thursdays?
Then go fuck yourself on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
That's right.
I don't know.
And go fuck yourself every other day because you should always be fucked. Okay. By daddy.
New veteran rewards are going
Tell us
to be.
about the veteran rewards, daddy.
Oh, okay. This is getting
Now
weird.
we use character names. Who's going to go pay $10 to change their name now?
Not me. I got the name that I wanted.
Put a dash, Annie dash Ero.
The dash.
You can use a dash on your names now instead of just apostrophe. So I'm just trying to think of new ways to change up your name.
Who would need a dash in their name?
I don't know. There's got to be some. We'll start seeing some soon, and then
Square Enix. When can I have a comma in my name? I need a semicolon
or an icon for like the clicks that some African languages use. Just click that.
For when I'm role playing with Daddy.
Now you can have like your Taru name come over from 11. They all had dashes between their names, didn't they?
Yeah. That's true. They did. Like, well, I think even Taru. Does Taru even have a dash in it?
No.
No, it doesn't. No.
So, guys, who's really excited to pay a whole lot of money for an Odin statue that you don't need?
If it's
But you get an emote.
If it's anything like the Heavensward Collector's Edition Dragon, fuck that.
It's bigger. See, the Heavensward Dragon was cool. It was just small.
Yeah, when they first presented the Heavensward Dragon, it looked huge, and then they sent you this little Matchbox-looking fucking thing. It's garbage.
$130, realistically, if it's as big as I'm thinking, like some of the Dark Souls figures and stuff are, that's not bad. Like I pay $80 for figures on a regular basis, so like $130 for a really big, nice ceramic, like or whatever, like collectible.
Some of the pictures. Is
that sarcasm?
Gamer Escape actually has some pictures of this on their site, and it actually does look fairly sizable. And I would assume that for $130, you've got to be paying. I mean, you're talking about a bonus item in a collector's edition that cost $80. This is $130 for one item. That's got to be way more hefty. And again, if I'm paying $130, I want this to be on my mantle.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. It looks detailed.
It does. It does. Yeah, I mean, I got to say, it looks very cool.
Guys, the most important thing, did they show what the emote looks like?
No.
In-game?
I don't know that they did. I mean, it's got a Zantan Zukin emote.
Oh, does it come with an in-game emote?
Yes.
Yeah. That's why it's important.
Shit. Now I need to get it.
Someone in the chat was saying it's about 10 inches tall, so we were looking at about that tall.
It's not bad.
It's not too bad.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
Nika, do you even have the up your mount?
You have to be on the mount to use it? You don't just have to have the sword? Because I have the sword.
No, but I'm saying, do you have the mount?
No.
Do you have the Odin gear?
I have the stuff that you could get from the Odin Fate gear. Yes.
The real Odin stuff from the trial, Nika.
I didn't like the look of that.
You don't
stuff.
get the Zantatsuken then.
The stuff from the Fate.
You're not a real fan of Odin.
I have all the stuff from the Fate.
Praise be to Odin. Daddy. Stop that.
FF14 Ultimate Edition magazine coming out in Japan.
Woohoo!
It's a thing that's happening.
Are we supposed to be excited about that?
I don't know. I have no clue. Meteor chopsticks are a thing.
And the first link is like bowls and a cup. That's cute.
Buy stuff. Spend money.
They showed off a lot of swag to buy.
Why don't you just use a
whether
fork?
you want it or not?
Yeah, spend your money so they make more of her minion shit.
Oh, those slippers! I've been waiting for these.
This place is boring.
Really?
Yes, I use them in my glamour on my characters sometimes. And they talked about when they put them in the game, they said they were going to make them in person. I've been waiting for pictures, and I'm super excited. It says Tokyo Game Show, but if they don't have them at FanFest, I'm going to cry.
It'd be funny if they had little whoopee cushions in them so they fart every time you take a step.
They better be squishy. Oh my god, I want them so bad. I will wait in line for them at FanFest forever.
So there you can.
Squishy, like, oh my god.
Queer.
We got some FanFest information and some teases. And again, I look. Guys, we were super successful in our hashtag Bring Susan campaign.
That's correct.
It didn't happen the year that we were shooting for it to happen, but it's going to happen this year. Yeah,
Square Enix is just a little slow, okay?
2016, Susan Calloway is going to be out there performing for us, and that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see her again and have a chance to hang out with her. This is, I mean, again, anyone who's seen Susan Calloway perform live knows that you're going to be in for a awesome. Dynamic dynamite performance. So we're super excited to be looking forward to that out at FanFest. But we've also got our outfits.
I can be Titus.
Yuna, I love the Yuna outfit.
Yuna's dumb. I can't.
Okay, at least it's Summoner Yuna, not Gunner Yuna.
Stupid.
At least Gunner Yuna would be hot though.
Stupid.
Because of the boobs.
What do you mean stupid? It's either going to be from this or from Veteran Rewards.
But
this was coming sooner or later.
I know it was. hate
you know, I'm a little
Tidus
bummed that
so
they gave,
much.
Okay, they gave us Lightning, they give us Yuna, and then they give just Zidans and Clouds without giving us Garnet and Tifa. I'm bummed about that.
I just like, why Tidus though?
I know.
Did
Actually, I like Tidus's gear fits well into 14.
I have always hated Tidus's gear more than any other gear. First of all, why does he have the semi-armored arm thing? And what is with the mesh knee protection? That has never made any fucking sense in the entire time that I've played 10. I've always looked at that and been like, why is one of your pant legs longer than the other one? And why does it have that stupid goddamn mesh?
That's his kneeing leg. You gotta protect your kneeing leg for when you're playing blitzball.
It's dumb.
I don't know. I'm excited.
I hate that
like
gear.
everything.
I've always hated.
That's my
I've hated
favorite.
Tidus in
The
general. I hate
worst.
that character.
I can't wait to be Cat Tidus.
10 is my favorite. You guys are horrible.
I don't hate 10. I hate Tidus.
Can I
like Tidus.
Is there a way that I could like texture hack Hearts and Farts to become like Tidus, wearing Tidus stuff, so I could just watch him die over and over again? Is that possible? Please, could that happen?
To it.
Or how about this? How about this shit is a dream? Like we get it for like a day, and then Square Enix goes, "Ha! It was all a dream, just like the game." Ha ha.
Daddy's mad.
Or maybe this
Daddy's
is foreshadowing that we're going to get Blitzball in the game.
Why would you ever think that they would add Blitzball?
Because they talked about it for a while.
No, it's
They did. They had a whole conversation about how it might maybe someday possibly kind of sort of work.
It doesn't make sense in the universe. We don't have giant spheres of water.
Never gonna happen.
And we can't breathe underwater.
It would be way better for the gold saucer than fucking Lords of Verminion.
I agree. I agree. At least it would tie into the franchise better, but it's never gonna happen. Functionally, I just don't. I don't see it happening.
Nothing but play Blitzball if it was in this game. That's all I would do.
FanFest. FanFest, we knew October 13th through 15th. Badge pickup is going to be the 13th. Tidus and Yuna outfits will be given away to FanFest attendees, along with Riku, Yuna, and Lulu minions, depending on your region. One outfit
Wait.
per account.
You only get Riku, Yuna, and Lulu depending on your region?
Yes.
So all those people who are super obsessed with collecting all the minions cannot get them all?
Yes.
Isn't it great?
Suck a dick, dumb shits.
I wonder if they'll put it in the Mog store eventually.
Yeah.
Probably.
No?
Did they put the Mog outfit from last year's FanFest?
I don't think the Yuna and Tidus outfits, but what about the minion?
The Mog outfit. That was for viewing it live.
No, this is the same thing. Is that if
This
you
is
went,
the same thing, yeah.
Yeah.
you go to FanFest, or if you buy the Twitch stream, you get the outfit.
Right. So, I don't know. I mean, I think that's... I don't know. I like digital exclusivity. But the thing is that there's no way to... I don't think there's no way to trade that kind of stuff, is there?
No.
I mean, if you got a second one and didn't fire it into your minion box, you could... I don't know if they're tradable.
But your accounts,
some of them aren't.
Your accounts
you're
are
right.
region locked.
You're
so
right.
Remember, back when we had that white fat chocobo stuff?
That's right.
People couldn't transfer those. So.
Okay, they're saying if you buy the stream of the different regions, you'll get it, but I don't know.
That's a lie. Don't listen. Who said that?
Each stream,
Who said that, Nika?
Lots of people in the chat, actually. Like
Skuro said that, Nika.
No, people said it before.
Your base said it.
You're a monster, Juxta.
Don't believe everything your base says.
Can I just mute Juxta privilege, please?
All right. Yeah, all right.
But
I'm getting sick of hearing from them, too.
I wonder if they would do that. That you buy all 3 different streams and you get them all. I don't know.
$75.
Yeah, that's a pretty big investment.
Maybe though, because then if you went to all 3 different fan fests, you would get the different ones. That would kind of make sense.
Yeah, who's got the cash to do that?
Depending on which fan fest you went to, so that way it wouldn't be based on your account; it would be based on the region of the event.
Well, someone's gonna complain about it, but it's not gonna be me because I could give a fuck less about
It'll be
minions.
in the cash shop.
All right. So, and by the way, if you happen to live in Japan, FanFest Tokyo applications are now being accepted. We know that FanFest is a way smaller event when they go to Tokyo, so they do take applications. That period is now open. If you want more information, I'm sure that's over at the Lodestone, so make sure you check that out.
Applications for what?
FanFest
Tokyo.
Like for going?
Yes.
You need to apply to go?
That's correct. You have to apply,
They've always
and then
done
they pick you to be able to buy tickets.
Yep.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they've got a very different system for Japan, and it seems like a much smaller event too, which is weird because you would think that it would generate a whole lot more interest. So, all right, let's talk for a second about this Famitsu interview that had come out and got some pretty interesting discussion. We had talked about some of these points earlier, but I wanted to make sure that we got through all of them. So, in this Famitsu article, which, by the way, I'm sure that Kooky is linking in our chat room, and if you'd like to discuss anything on the show, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. We're going to go back to our phone lines here in just a second, but in this Famitsu article, we've got Yoshida talking about some of the difficulty, the difficulty gap and skill ranges between players, and this kind of ties into a lot of what we were talking about with where the raid scene has gone. So we wanted to make sure that we talked about this while it was still relevant. But before we get into that, let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Zero Aeolius of Sargentanis. What's up, Zero? How's it going?
Hey guys, what's up?
Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. What do you want to talk about today?
That's my overall statement for this patch because I was very worried about SNL's disappearance since the Great Library and her conversation with Warrior Darkness, and I think this patch will basically center around the twins more than the Warrior Darkness, I think.
You're breaking up a little bit. You say Alpha knows
the Great Library horror move, I think, will be the first dungeon in the beginning of the pack, because I think that will answer the question why she was in there first, then go from there.
So, I'm sorry, you're kind of hard to understand. You think Google Library is going to be the first of the two dungeons in the new patch, and that will bring us up to speed with what Alpha Node's doing?
Yeah, I think that's all. Because so far we only seen her basically running away from the Warrior Darkness, but before that she was in the library for some unknown reason. So I'm curious why she was.
Yeah, you're right. There was that scene that occurred between the Asians that also had Alize that was present for the scene between the Asians, and I think she was there for between the Asians and what's his name with the glasses, the Scion. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Urianger?
Yeah, Urianger. She was a part of that scene, or somewhere.
She was like hiding behind the corner in Old wasn't she?
Something like that. I don't remember, but I know that she was
hiding somewhere.
She was somehow attached to those series of cutscenes. So it's very possible. I think revisiting and catching up with Alize is probably pretty important. And who knows? I mean, there's just a lot of speculation there.
Okay.
What?
I have a real point. Sorry.
Do you, or are you just going to look around the room confused more?
I could do that too, but I'm going to do that after my point. Didn't they show a picture of Alize like on the couch with Alphino like hovering over, like all concerned?
Yes,
like?
No,
so
I think the other way around. I think Alphino was on the couch and she was looking.
Well, how can you tell? How can you tell the difference?
Well, I mean, they're both girls, so.
According to Krill.
But yes, that did happen. Did you have a point about it?
Well, I thought that. I figured that if it was Alize on the couch being dead, that she would try to be and do something brash and stuff because she knows something about the Asians or whatever, and then she's gonna get fucked up because she's a girl.
I mean, I don't know. Like I think with the great Google Library playing a part in this next series of content, as well as the changes to dialogue based on whether or not you've completed Coil, I think that that's probably two very strong pieces of indication that we will see a return to seeing what the fuck Alize is up to. So, appreciate the call, Zero. If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Let's talk a little bit about this Famitsu article. Yoshida does, he stated in the the interview that he sees the gap between players and skill ranges and sees it as regrettable and wishes to narrow the gap with less reactionary choices. Now, this is an interesting statement there because I feel like they have made a lot of reactionary choices.
Absolutely.
That and again, going back to their previous statement about the difficulty of the creator section of Alexander, that are they actually listening? Like, do they really actually have a sense of that? Because I don't think that adjusting the difficulty down is necessarily the right move, and especially if you claim to be listening to that portion of your community and wanting to make less reactionary choices. That is one of the biggest reactionary choices that they've made.
Well, I mean, everything they've done recently has felt reactionary, so he's not wrong in saying that they've done that, but he just hasn't given us any indication that he plans on changing that approach anytime soon. I don't know at what point, I guess it's not technically reactionary to adjust the difficulty down because there's no reason to do it.
So what about, there is a big gap. I think that he has correctly identified.
Yes.
And we have talked about this as well, that there is a gap between players who log on, do their roulettes, and, maybe do a Crystal Tower, or, they'll do their Weeping City and Macaque. But that's really where their engagement with the game ends. And then you've got players like Nika who seek further engagement through raiding. And I feel like that he's trying to say that he wants to strike a balance between those two types of play, but I don't know that you can. I think that you just end up whittling the interest away on both ends.
And I'm not sure the difficulty is the reason for that.
Yes,
I'm not sure
agree.
The difficulty is why people aren't raiding.
I agree. I think it has way less to do with the difficulty and way more to do with the incentive.
Yeah.
We've had callers that have identified that. We've been talking about this for 6, 7, 8 months now. I mean, it really has. It comes down to the incentive structure that's not making a reward feel like a reward, and that I understand that feedback can be received as as very subjective, and also very sentiment driven, and I understand that, but that's really games, and specifically ongoing games, deal in that. That's the currency that your game needs to continue to be successful, especially if you're expecting your audience to pay month over month to have access to your product. If you want them to continue to pay month over month, then you've got to be meeting them with the quality of content that they expect. And I just don't think that we've been met with that this entire year. And that's disappointing. It's so disappointing for me as a player who absolutely loves this game, because I understand when people say, look, I've got to unsub after a month because, look, I've got other things that I want to do. I've got other things that I need to pay for and other stuff that I need to concentrate on. There's a part of me that wishes that the game pulled at you a little bit more than it does. And a lot of people identified that as negative qualities to MMOs maybe 10 years ago, and I think WoW did went to great lengths to strip a lot of that out. And it's going to be really interesting to see with this latest WoW expansion the direction that they end up moving their community in. And the reason I say that is because WoW is really the only MMO that has the ability to innovate anymore, because they have the resources that they can lose. They can lose 1 million subs and be totally fine. It will not take the company under. If Final Fantasy XIV lost 2 million subs tomorrow, we would be looking at changing this game from a subscription model to a free-to-play model overnight. It would change. Yeah. It would change the entire discussion surrounding this game. And again, people. I don't think people really stop and realize this, or appreciate it if they do realize it, that this is one of the last MMOs that has a subscription charge along with it that you have to pay. WoW has a way where you can farm. If you're playing enough, you can basically play for free. Most other games have a either a pay-to-win model or some kind of really broken microtrans model, or they have jump potions or whatever. And we in the FF14 community, especially here on the show, have been a very active and vocal proponent against a lot of those ideas, because we've seen what they do in games like WoW. And if WoW is having such a huge fall off in the last 2 years, it's going to be really interesting to see what their strategy is to try to regain some of that focus and try to regain some of that hype and attention, because it sounds like a lot of people are in for Legion. A lot of people are going back for Legion. And a lot of
people close to us.
I don't even understand why. I don't even know what they're adding that is so compelling about this, but I'm going to be very interested to see, because I think this is going to be the bellwether for the future of MMOs. Just like WoW has led the charge in the last 10 years, it's going to continue to lead the charge until it loses that subscriber base, which I don't think is possible in this day and age.
So are you going to subscribe and play WoW?
Absolutely not.
Legion?
No.
Just to see what they can do, Daddy?
No. Why are you calling me Daddy?
He's calling you Daddy.
I have my RP flag up.
God, I hate you. You know what? No. Here's the thing. If you want to have your RP flag up in the studio, you have to actually make a physical RP flag to hold above your head. No.
He's working on it.
No. Not a shitty one. Not a piece of notebook paper. This actually has to be an arts and crafts project from you.
Like a piece of felt.
You're not going to be able to do this in the time that it's going to take to wrap the show up.
Can I have a temporary one?
No.
I want a temporary one for right now. I'll arts and crafts the fuck out of my RP flag.
Okay, if you do that, I'll just mute your mic for the rest of the show. How about that?
Well, that's no fun.
Exactly. All right, it's one or the other. We've actually got content that this is why I'm so frustrated at your fucking sidetracking today, because we've got shit that we have to finish here on the outline, and only 30 minutes left in the show. We actually have stuff to talk about today. We don't have to meander around in the dumb shit that we normally do. And we have a goal. We have a goal. If we don't get through the end of this, I don't know what happens. I may murder you.
I'm sorry, Daddy.
Oh my God.
No more mic for you. God, use it responsibly, for Christ's sake. All right.
Choke me, Daddy.
God damn it. Thanks, Dirty Randy. All right. So Alexander Savage is being viewed as more difficult than was intended by the devs, and is looking to start following an easier format to find that sweet spot. Of course, this is what we talked about a whole lot earlier in the program. Nika, again, I've got to defer to you. In my opinion, this is just such a misguided move on Square Enix's part. What would you expect, or what would you want to see out of the final tier of Alexander?
Gosh, it's so hard to answer a question like that.
But if you're disappointed by this, if you're disappointed by this opinion, then what could he have said that would have encouraged you, or would have left you walking away from the quote a little bit more encouraged?
Man, I guess, gosh, it's difficult, because a lot of what we're saying is lacking is incentive, whether it's through gear or through story, and I feel like the last leg of a raid cycle is the wrong place to change that. So it's really difficult to think like all the things that I want them to change. I think they should start with 4.0. Honestly, like what I'm loving about Midas is the fact that even though we're only on A7 and we haven't even touched A8 yet, none of us are burnout. None of us hate it. The second this interview came out, my entire raid group is like, what the fuck, we're triggered, we hate this, why is he saying this? Like, we are loving this raid tier, we're doing we're having a good time doing it. What is he thinking by saying this? And
I think that's fair. That's a fair reaction.
I mean, whereas in Gordius by A3, we're like, this is the worst thing ever. What were they thinking? Were they high when they made this? We hate this. We quit. Our group's falling apart.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a very big difference between it. And like we were saying earlier, my only real, like, I just don't understand where he's getting this from.
Yeah.
If there are actually, I mean, what are the JP players saying? I don't know. Maybe even the JP players that are clearing it are saying it's too hard. I mean, Arthas is in the chat. I see him talking. I just don't. I don't know. Like, it's hard. I feel like that they should continue the next raid cycle around the same level as Midas, and then in 4.0 change it up somehow. Because, I mean, as much as I want them to change the incentive or change the story, although they said there's supposed to be more story in this tier, I don't know how much of that I can believe, that it has something to do with the time. But, I don't know. They should definitely change it for 4.0. But as of right now, I mean, I'm not a game developer, and I can't really decide what I would like to see changed, but I think that Midas is in a good enough spot that if the next raid tier was about the same as Midas, I would not complain.
Well,
I don't know who is complaining. If it gets too easy, like, I don't want to be, like, I'm not world first, and I would hate for me to all of a sudden be clearing all 4 levels within the first couple of weeks. Because if it's that easy, then it means that they've, like, I don't want to be farming. Because I feel like if I'm already going to be on a level where I'm farming all 4 raids from, like, the first couple of weeks, then I'm going to be way bored of it way earlier on and not log in even more, quickly.
And that's the question. What is sweet spot? What does that mean?
Yeah. And I feel like it would have been, if they had said they had found the sweet spot with Midas, I would have probably said, yeah, you might be onto something there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they got way closer to having a properly tuned raid with Midas than they did with Gordius.
Yeah, I think so too. I think our group definitely took way longer than the average group on A6 due to lots of issues. But so I think that by average, we probably would be finishing A8 about right now or in the next week or two, which I think is good. You complete all 4 of them and have a few weeks to have all of them on farm before the next one comes out. That makes sense to me. I think that's good. I know at the Coils, there were a couple of the rounds where we actually had them on farm for like a month or 2, and it got really boring really fast. So I think you need to kind of have that level where most of the mid-core players are beating it with just a few weeks, maybe a month to spare.
Then, I mean, if you're still struggling on A7 Savage and you weren't having those kinds of same struggles with Binding Coil, then, I mean, maybe it does need a bit of an adjustment to be easier.
I don't want it easier because I didn't like that.
Fair enough.
The fact that we cleared Binding Coil and then had it on, like, we would literally just log in on Tuesdays, clear all 4, log out for a week. Like, I don't want that.
Right.
I want to log in a couple times a week to do raiding because then at least since I'm already logged in, I'll probably do roulettes and do other stuff as well. If I'm beating everything in one day, I'm not going to log on again, and that's lame. Yeah. I don't want it to be so easy that even the mid-core groups are beating it with no
trouble. Yeah. No, that's a pretty good point. Let's go back to our phone lines real quick and talk to Logos Hugo of Ultros. What's up, Logos?
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
Good.
So kind of on the topic that you guys are talking about, I really feel like his direction and the way he answered that question is the final Alex is probably going to be easier due to the difficulty of the rotations. And then once next patch comes out or next expansion comes out, that they're going to be tuning back the difficulty of the rotations but increasing the difficulty of the actual raid.
That would be interesting because, every indication that we've gotten in terms of the development of the individual jobs is that as the level cap gets higher, that the rotations will become more and more complex. They haven't given us any indication that they want to try to shrink that down or make it less complex. I mean, and you think about the ways that they can do that. You're talking about, condensing abilities or, making skill trees and forcing players to choose which abilities they unlock, making binary choices, things like that. Those are ways that you can kind of do that, but I don't think that FF14's system is very well designed for something like that. If they were going to implement it, Logos, how would you see them implementing it?
Honestly, I feel like that they would probably tune back some of the the actual buffs and stuff, because that is something that he talked about, like with stance dancing and different stances and stuff.
So are you talking like the slashing debuff that warriors would give, or something like that?
Something like that, or maybe something with Black Mage where they have multiple lusts they have to hold. Just like tuning that down, or maybe extending it to where you don't have to watch it as much. WoW definitely did something very similar to that, where they messed with buff timers, made things also more available to see, I guess. They had things where like icons would pop up on your screen to tell you something was ready or available. I could see them doing that, or making it where they have different types of stacks of different things.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good point. It's possible. Again, I wonder how, because when we saw the jump from 50 to 60, we did know that rotation changes were coming. Yeah. And they did. I mean, they changed the nature of quite a few jobs. Bard being a huge one. Even Black Mage is another huge one that changes, almost the entire meta of it changes as you take it from 50 to 60. And I feel like that's the sort of things that they're going to be doing, especially if they're concentrating on raising the cap with every successive expansion. I don't think that it's unreasonable for us as an audience to expect them to have horizontal progression at this point. It may be something that we want and call for and remember fondly from other games, but I don't think that it's a fair expectation for us to have for FF14 as a game at this point, because the devs have proven again and again that they have no interest in horizontal progression, and that they're only going to be pursuing a vertical progression model. And that tells me that rotations are only going to get more complex as time goes on. I mean, we talked earlier, they're adding a new double hotbar method for controllers. That tells me things are just going to get more and more complex.
Convoluted.
Yeah.
Convoluted.
Exactly. Thanks for the call, Logos. We appreciate it. If you want to call Limit Break Radio, of course, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Man, they are racing them boats real hard.
They sure are.
God damn.
This is the first time I can hear them.
It's like louder than it was earlier, and I don't understand
it's
why.
Louder than yesterday was, too.
Yeah, it
nuts.
Sure is.
HQ boats.
Forgot you were on mute. If you want to call the show, Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. I don't know how much more room we're going to have for callers. We do want to get to the end of this Famitsu interview. Trying to find the sweet spot. Who knows what that really means? Some classes were made too difficult and complex, and the devs are looking to reduce the complexity by changing its at-level abilities. This is something that Logos was just talking about. But the thing is I don't see how that's possible unless they start adjusting the function of certain abilities or the way that certain abilities are unlocked or obtained. I feel like a skill tree is one way to sort of compensate for something like that, but it's not exactly the answer that FF14 needs, because I don't think that the system lends itself well to that. So
the only thing I can see them doing is having moves that replace other moves. Once you get this, you no longer have this ability.
I could see that.
That's the only way I can see them doing it in this
game. Or a level 2 of it or something. But at that point, that's just, I don't know, man.
Or something like Ninja, where you get a move where it just refreshes your Huton automatically.
No, but the thing is that fucks things up when you go back to level sync, though. Like even now, like using certain moves on Scholar, like I'll put certain moves on my second hotbar, then I'm like, oh crap, well now that I'm level synced, I have to like flip back to it. I don't know. So I don't know if that would necessarily work, that one replaces another, because then, unless when you level sync, it just goes back to its original.
Yeah, well, I would assume so.
So Yoshida was also comparing the savage Japanese players to the sentiments of North American players, do the savage content out of more out of obligation than desire, and I feel like that's probably true of the Japanese community.
But do they feel like if they don't raid, then they're not experiencing the game, or?
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of the North American community just sort of writes it off. I mean, that's not a sentiment that I recognize, which is why I say that it's probably a sentiment for the Japanese community.
It could be. I could definitely see like the mindset of like, this is the content they put in the game. We're supposed to do it.
Right.
Okay. Well,
isn't that kind of how? I mean, I don't play WoW, but I feel like most WoW players, like, there's not that many WoW players that don't do any raids, right?
I'm sure there's tons of people that don't do raids in WoW.
That don't do any raids? Oh.
Probably.
I just thought that was like the thing to do in WoW, and that once they put out a new raid, everybody does it. No?
Well, I'm sure
when I was playing WoW, I didn't do very many raids.
I'm sure there's lots of people that just do the raid finder, but aside from like the actual challenging stuff, I'm sure they don't bother with it.
Right. Japanese players have a clear rate of content that's it's like 3 times higher than North American audiences. So, I mean, I think that alone says something right there that, North American players just don't feel like there's a real compelling reason to do this. I mean, we've been saying this for a while.
Yeah, I mean, I read that as 3 times more JP players are trying than RNA.
Yeah, but that's because they feel like if they don't raid, then they are left out of the game. Because I don't think any American players really think that at all. Like,
Not
that
at all.
if they don't raid, then they're left out. Because the raid is such a small percent of our community.
And again, the rewards only affect your ability to continue raiding. It doesn't impact at all your ability to do Crystal Tower. I mean, it does, but what does it do in the end? Like, what does it do for your party? It shaves a couple of minutes off of your total time. Nobody actually is watching that player and going, "Oh shit, look at the damage that they're rolling out." Like
in Dungeons, I noticed that. Though.
I don't.
Not so much in Crystal Tower.
I mean, but Nika, both of us are tanks, and so both of us have a way different situational battle awareness than other DPS players or even healers. Like, we have the ability to actually look and monitor what's happening on the battlefield more so than other players do. We have to dodge less, we have to rotate less. I mean, it really is a situation where we get to notice that stuff more.
I mean, I remember the first time I ran a fractal and that we were pushing phases and the bosses, I'm like, oh, hey, we didn't even get to that second thing. And
that's
everyone's gear, and I'm like, wow, all of us are at max gear. This is awesome. I hope I get a group like this again. Like, I definitely notice it in Dungeons. Something like Crystal Towers and stuff, though, not so much.
But again, I mean, Nika, you had said last week that you do actually check other people, but then everyone else, all 4 people in this room, said that they stopped that practice completely after FF11, and I think that says something. And what it says is you're plugged into raiding, and so you're competitive with other raiders. That's why you bother to examine them. But because the rest of the community isn't engaged in that content, we don't even bother to check impressive raiders that walk by because we don't give a shit.
Actually, I do check people, but it's to look at their glamour.
But
I mean, that's part of the gear lust that we're talking about.
Wait, hang on. Is that only if you like their glamour to see what the pieces are, or is it every glamour?
Not every glamour, but if I like the piece, or if I like how
that makes
looks,
sense.
Then I'll look at it.
That makes sense.
If it looks terrible, I'll look at it and say, wow, I need to get me some of this.
That makes a little bit of sense, but that's a function that's going on there.
If there's tits.
Have you ever paid attention to the stats?
No, never.
Yeah, see, exactly.
But see, I'm competitive with my glamour, so that's why I check people for it.
But again, I feel like that's the only reason people check anyone anymore. Like, there's no reason to check someone for gear stats unless you're noticing, like Nika had said, unless you're noticing that phase pushes are happening.
Well, even if I notice a phase,
if they have better gear than my tank does.
Even if I notice a phase push or something like that, I don't check the person. I just go, oh wow, we have sweet DPS. That's just what strikes in my mind.
I mean, as a tank, I always check the healer to see if they're geared enough for big pulls and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, as a healer, I will eye level check the tank. Say, oh shit, I'm in for some big pulls, or this guy doesn't have a good eye level. Maybe
he's got a big pull.
So
a huge eye level. I'm gonna have to heal bomb him a lot. Less DPS from me.
Well, and it seems
that's just technical checking.
Wow.
Tactical checking.
Holy shit.
That was actually really hard.
Yeah, I noticed. So, I mean, with Yoshida preaching about raid content and, he mentions the joy of clearing challenging content with 7 others. But why then seek to dumb it down? Why then seek to lower the challenge there?
That makes no sense.
So more people can enjoy the challenge?
But we have story mode. We have story mode. That's the ubiquitous thing for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah.
But nobody enjoys that challenge.
When story mode first comes out, like the first week, it's not super easy. So I think like there's something to it. And then once you get your story and your weekly piece, who freaking cares, right? That's what they wanted with Coil. That's what everybody wanted with Coil, and they got it, and now people hate it. Come on now.
Well, and
that's because people complain about stuff they don't understand.
Part of it is that the story just sucks.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Story for Alexander sucks, and the story for Coil was actually decent.
But I still feel like though that if there was no normal mode and the only way to get story was through Alex, I think a few more people would definitely do it.
Yeah.
Although I do realize that there's not really story in between the different turns like there was last time. Like it's only at the completion of the 4th, which is why I feel like there's not even that the story is worse, but that there's less of it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It does.
That scene was like after you beat 12.
Yeah, no, you're totally right.
That was a really epic one.
You're totally right. Well, and remember that, at the time Yoshida had stated that, the rest of the team or the company might be kind of pissed about how much they spent to be able to make that cutscene. I mean, they really did go out of their way, and that was putting a bow on 1.0, which I get. I understood that, and I understand why that would be a lot more epic and a little bit more engaging, but the fact that it's so bad with Alexander that nobody gives a shit. Can anyone name the NPC from the Aura NPC? What's her name?
Louis Fox?
No, what's her name? The from the Alexander. Yeah.
I don't know.
No one knows.
Yugiri?
No. Isn't. That's not her.
Female Aura with silver metallic glamour.
Scarface?
Yeah, I think that's...
What's the name of the Aura chick in the Alexander story?
Hover Nyan?
Do you know?
No one knows.
You don't know either. Nobody knows.
No one knows.
The chat knows.
Of course the chat's going to know because they have Google.
Me Day, I remember.
You didn't remember. You saw the chat.
Yeah, you Googled.
Now that they say it. No, they're saying now that they say it, I do remember. But
but yeah, just for the minute that we threw it around the room and no one could recall, that doesn't speak volumes for how engaging that story is.
The mongrel?
Stop. It mentions Scholar and Warrior and their utility as being viewed as outrageous in terms of balance, which is really interesting because Yoshida in 3.1 had said that Warrior was working as intended. So which is it?
Is that a mea culpa? Is that him saying, yeah, I was wrong?
It doesn't sound like it. I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean... first of all, outrageous is a very... That's
a strong word.
That's a strong word, especially from someone like Yoshida.
But compare Warriors DPS to Dark Knights and Paladins. It is outrageously stronger, I think, in terms of balance.
Never said he was wrong. I never said that that's incorrect. I'm saying that it's very interesting that this is it's not like a backpedaling, but an admission, that maybe he was wrong, or that something does actually need to happen there. But viewing Scholar and Warrior's utility as outrageous, I mean, again, that's very, very strong language to use associated with those job adjustments, and I have to be wondering how Scholars and Warriors are feeling about this statement. Probably not fantastic.
I was
saying
nervous.
that he wants to nerf them, or does he want to bring the other?
That's what it sounds like. No,
maybe he wants to bring the other two of each up to par.
I don't think that's what it sounds like.
Because if he said that Warrior is intended to be the way that it is way back in the day, maybe just Dark Knight and Paladin and Astrologian and White Mage are slacking and they're going to buff them.
The term outrageous leads me to believe nerf. If it was the other way around, I feel like he would say the other two jobs aren't up to par.
Yeah.
Like the way that's where it says to me says nerf.
Yep. Singling those two jobs out to me implies that there is an incoming nerf. So that's probably pretty disappointing for Scholars and Warriors. But you know what, Warriors? It's hard for me to feel bad for you because you have been rubbing that swollen red dick in our face for so long. I get it. All right, I get it. Yeah, you can pump out pretty decent DPS. That's cool, bro. But like the amount of just penis swelling that would happen at the mere mention of Dark versus Warrior. Like, I'm not sad for you that you're getting nerfs, dummy.
I don't know. I'm actually surprised that he would say this now. Like, when they changed the vitality, the way the vitality worked, and that brought Paladin's DPS up and Warriors down a little bit, I thought that balanced it kind of a lot, like, so that it wouldn't be outrageous anymore.
But again, is Warrior's utility as a DPS, unquestionable? Yes, it is. And I mean, should it be in a way? Yeah, I mean, yeah, they should be able to contribute to DPS, and they probably should top the DPS charts, but they should not be doing almost twice the amount of damage that other tanks are doing. That to me seems like a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. So to me, I think that's a necessary change, and it sounds like that's going to be happening. Stats and substats are going to be changed in 4.0 as well. It's kind of vague.
Yeah, they don't say very much about what.
That's vague, but that's big. I mean, stats and
it could be small. It could just be altering the parry rate slightly.
But they're saying stats and substats. Yeah. That to me speaks of a more, back-end systemic change.
I'm hoping they either completely eliminate attribute points or make it so that you can actually pick more than just the one main attribute point.
Yeah, attribute points feel so pointless.
They're so tacked on. I mean, that's just kind of a bring over from the original class system. I feel like either they need to make it so that we can pick multiple things and spec differently and play differently, or just eliminate them altogether.
That's what materia is for, specking differently.
Right. I don't think we need the attributes at all.
Yeah, but again, there's no point to specking differently. Like, there's actually...
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm hoping maybe by changing stats and substats will make there be a point.
It's an active detriment if you spec if you spec differently. So, I agree with you, Nika. I think that would be a nice change to see. But again, without having a systemic change, what do you do?
Like, let's say, for example, you can't change your attribute. You can't add attributes to your main stats. So, Dex for Ninja, Strength for Warrior. Vitality for Warrior. What are you going to put all your stats into? Into Vitality or Strength for Warrior.
Exactly.
That's literally the only other stat that will help you. As whatever your job is.
Yeah, I think what would be nice is if Paladin could put something into Mind or Piety and actually make their MP matter. Like, Paladins, that cure has always been a part of FF. Not so much in this.
I don't disagree with you there, Nika.
We got clemency.
It would.
Yeah, but
I think if there was a bonus to specking outside the norm, right? Like, you've got, of course, crit rate and debt, like those are, as a tank, like that's what you want to be focusing on, right? But if you got a bonus to parry, if you melded parry and you got a bonus on top of what the stats already provide you, then that may be enough of an incentive to spec differently. But it's another systemic change that's got to come from Square Enix. And I just feel like, they say we're trying to make these changes to make the game more dynamic, and then every change that they makes it more it makes it more linear, makes it more binary,
homogenized.
Makes it more homogenized, exactly. And that's the thing that I think concerns me the most about FF14. I think that Square Enix has really got to shift the focus from bringing new people in and trying to bring people in from WoW or Guild Wars and finding things that are recognizable to them, and concentrate on what your community wants, what they've been asking for, and the styles of play that they have also been requesting. It does nobody any good to continually compare yourself up against a game that we have clearly identified earlier in the show doesn't have to play by any rules, because they've got the resources to not have to give a shit WoW could come out and release the worst content and still retain 7 million players. I'm pretty sure that was Warlords of Draenor.
Warlords of Draenor. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, that's what that whole expansion said. You can release the worst stuff and still maintain 7 million players. And if you can do that, then you can do anything moving forward. And I hate that I'm looking at Blizzard for the future of MMOs as opposed to anyone else, because Blizzard put us into this rut in the first place. And I feel like looking to them to take us out in the future is just... I mean, it may be folly. That may be deep folly. But who else is in that position? Clearly, games like WildStar, or games that try to innovate in this way, like FF14 1.0 did, they fail, and they fail again and again and again, and then they don't have the economic resources to be able to either correct the course or fix the product. Fortunately, Square Enix did, right? But now what? Now what happens? And I hate that I'm looking to Blizzard for the future.
It feels like the episode of any action cartoon as a kid where the hero has to team up with the villain until the end of the episode, but he's just going to betray you at the end.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Oh, man. All right. We're getting here towards the end of the show. Thank you guys for all of your calls. We really appreciate talking to you and sounding off on Live Letter 31. It's been nice to have things to talk about here again in this game. So
I'm not used to it.
I know, right? Like we're used to coming out here and having to tap dance and figure out what exactly we're going to talk about. It was nice to just know what was there for a change.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, just like we do each and every week, let's check out what's going on in the FFFL.
Good afternoon, FFFL fans. Week 3 is in the books, and what a week it was. We saw quite a bit of action on the waiver wire and on the trade market, so let's jump right in. First up, the T-Rexars claimed Terra off the waiver wire, releasing Rydia in the process. However, they weren't done there. After the Avengers claimed Vincent, they immediately sent him to the T-Rexars in exchange for Zidane, which marks the completion of the first trade in FFFL history. Juxtaposition also made a move for his team, claiming Lightning off the waiver wire while dropping Aerith, and after the matches got underway, one more trade was completed, which will reflect in the upcoming week's matchups. The Verminion Lords and the Melusine Marauders struck a deal on Thursday, which will send Orshifant and the Marmots Juxta-killed in 1.0 as part of the Marmot Defense Force, yes, specifically those Marmots, to the Marauders.
Thank you for saying the full name.
You got it. In exchange, they get Gilgamesh and Ishtola. Last week was one that saw a lot of blowouts, with not a single game settled by less than a 10% margin. So first up, the Balam T-Rexors got destroyed by the Super Senpai Megaforce, who continue to be an unstoppable juggernaut in the early part of the season. They fall to 1-2, while the Megaforce is now 3-0. Speaking of looking unstoppable, the Chicobos thrashed Titans Banana Hammock, improving to 3-0 on the season. With the loss, Titans Banana Hammock sits at 2-1 and looks forward to returning home next week. In our battle of futility, it was the Melusine Marauders who managed to avoid the 0-3 start. They take the win over the Red Wings, who are improving to 1-2.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
And finally, in our biggest win of the week, the Edelweiss Avengers crushed Bimbo USA by a 26% margin. Despite their Week 1 scandal, they seem to have recovered nicely and now sit at 2-1, while Bimbo USA falls to 0-3. Looking forward to next week. We've got the Verminion Lords, sponsored by Sid's Magitech and Used Chocobo Emporium, once again heading on the road as they travel to the missing member to meet the 3-0 Chicobos.
It's on.
Next up, the Balam T-Rexars will travel to Castle Baron for a matchup with the Red Wings.
Yeah.
The two teams combined for only one win this season, so the real winner might be any fan who can stomach watching this match. Happy to be back home. Titans Banana Hammock is preparing the naval for the Melusine Marauders, who are looking revitalized after completing their trade with the Verminion Lords. And El Negro Grande will try to slow down the surging Edelweiss Avengers as they travel to the Rogues Guild Fight Club. They've struggled on the road so far this season and will need to prove they can win away from home to have any chance of seeing a postseason berth. Lastly, the hill to climb for Bimbo USA to get out of the cellar won't get any easier this week. They travel to the Chaos Shrine for a matchup with the Super Senpai Megaforce, who have yet to have an opponent even keep a game close.
Yeah.
Will Bimbo make a move and stun the world, or will the Juggernaut continue rolling?
My vote's on Juggernaut.
Probably.
Yeah.
In other league news, drama surrounded the opening of the Chickabos and the Titans Banana Hammock game as Merlewib refused to stand for the national anthem at the beginning of the match. She was quoted after as saying she was doing so in protest of the way Rogan are treated in Eorzea. More on this story as it develops.
Well, it's his penis and he can do whatever he wants with it.
On the waiver wire this week, we've got Imeric, Prish, Kamari, Ultros, Charlotta, Yojimbo, Lena, Sid Highwind, Adia, and Fang. And our waiver wire order will be Papa Woody, Gordor, Mad Hatter, Surin, Aniro, Malkithera, Nika, Escalia, Juxta, and Callow.
All right.
And that's
Wait,
what's
who
going
is Charlotta?
Yeah, explain that, sir.
Charlotta comes from the same game as Lacacius.
Oh, okay. There you go.
So I thought maybe Aniro would like someone to actually be able to pick up.
Would you like to delve into their history a little bit?
No.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, there's someone that Lacacius uses as a guinea pig for a little while in the game. That's all I really know about him.
Who gives a shit? No one cares.
Apparently you.
Apparently you, Mr. Who the hell is my team?
Did you guys not get the joke? Okay.
What joke?
Never mind. God damn it.
That your entire team's a joke?
Yes.
That is correct. They certainly play like one.
All right. And that's going to do it for FFFL. By the way, make sure that you're heading on over to limitbreakradio.com on Tuesdays. Tuesdays are important days because that's the day that the podcast gets released, but it's also the day that voting goes up for the FFFL. So make sure you're visiting limitbreakradio.com and voting on all of these matchups. And vote for your favorite, your least favorite, whatever the fuck. Who cares?
Way to sell it.
Yeah, do the thing. LimitBreakRadio.com. All right, that's going to do it, actually, for the episode. Guys, I want to thank you so much for joining us here today talking about Live Letter 31. This has been an exciting episode. It's been fun to have things to talk about again. We really want to appreciate, we really want to say thank you and appreciate all 150 or 251 of you that are watching this show right now. Guys, if this is your first time stumbling on the show and you had fun today, then make sure that you hit that follow button. Come back every Sunday starting at 1 here at twitch.tv/limitbreakradio. We do the show. We allow you to call in. That's not just something special that we did for this episode. We allow you to call in each and every single episode. So we want to encourage you to do that. That's done here live at twitch.tv/limitbreakradio. But if you like the show, subscribe to our podcast over at limitbreakradio.com and make sure you check us out on social media. That's facebook.com/limitbreakradio, at limitbreakradio on Twitter. And also we've got that nice Reddit subreddit going on. So make sure you check that out over at the Limit Break Radio subreddit. So guys, thank you so much for joining us here today. It's been a lot of fun. Join us next time as we figure out what the hell we're going to talk about for FF14. Now that we don't have Live Letter 31, who knows what next week will hold. So thank you guys for joining us, but make sure that you come back each and every single week here to twitch.tv/limitbreakradio. I want to thank my crew. Of course, Kooky Persona, womaning the phone lines. We've also got Papa Woody, who's been hanging out here in the studio, contributing to the conversation and filling in for Kahlo. Thank you, Papa. As well as my normal hosts. We've got Juxtaposition, Escalia Rayumasa, and Nika Kayanian. Thank you guys for your contributions and your hard work for Limit Break Radio. We are supported at our patron site, patreon.com/limitbreakradio. And that's it. I'm an hero. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Kalo Landis, Ascalia Ryumasa, and Aniro Grigori. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Captain Failboat, Zurian Urexin, Azura Giacho, Bianca Forwin, Kalina Ashsaber, Thor Carson, My Waifu, Satori Komeji, Darbykins, Sakura-chan, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by The Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by The Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.